I'll wait for everybody to get here. I hit the wrong button and I ended the broadcast, so let me delete that one real quick to end the confusion. Hopefully everybody come over here. And let's see. Welcome in, everybody. How you doing? Okay, I can do this. Bunny Murphy. All right, the first one in. Swiffer Fly. Let me delete the other one so everybody doesn't get all confused real quick. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Nice to see you. Meanie Weenie in the house yet? Meg P. Made it before Meanie. And I saw Stormy Daniels. There she is. And Damn the Man has arrived. Damn the Man don't miss a beat. Let's delete this one just for pity's sake. And you're going to be glad you're here tonight, everybody. I always say I appreciate you. And I think I did something cool for you. So far, Jen and Twiz have liked it. Hey, Cole, what's up? How you doing? Nice to see you. Enjoying your videos and like your content. Jamrock's in the house. We got Jamrock's coming up tonight. And let's see, did it delete that? It's still working on it. It's deleting it. That's how you start a show. Yeah! Welcome new subscribers and welcome new visitors. If you're new to the Purge, I'm KV Wavy and I'll be taking care of you tonight. So let's get it underway here, my friends. I'm going to close this out. Bring that thing I had back up, you know what I'm saying? And now I'm having audio problems. This can't be happening. Let's see here. Try one more time. Nope. Okay. And new window capture. This will work, I promise you, one way or the other. Welcome to Monday Night Live. We're going to get it done here tonight. How's the audio sound? It sounded really bad. Last time I was listening back and it was all tinny and winny. I did not like it. We got people from the UK in here. You should feel special. Yeah, we got a real special perch for you tonight. I promise you. Jen is gonna. I just closed that. No, good. I'm batting 1,000. I really. It was like I used to bat 1,000. Where'd it go? Okay, here it is. Don't worry about the properties right now, pal. Oh. Okay. There we go. One more time. I put new batteries in my mouse. And now this thing keeps popping. Okay. That's the one right there. Close it. And welcome to the Purge. If you're new to the Purge, don't be afraid of the name. Meanie Weenie doesn't bite. Let's see if we can. What happens if I do this full size now? It goes whack-a-diddle doo-doo. Hold on. We got... Oh, it's full screen, though. I like it. Hold on. This is better than I anticipated. Boy, have you got something you're going to see. You're never going to forget tonight. You're going to just... This is like our Kennedy assassination for us, guys. This is... You're going to remember where you were on this night of the Purge. I promise you that. And let's see if we got audio. Yeah.
It's the third quarter. I'm losing. Just... I do understand, over 40, I don't understand young people that kind of give up so early, where you can tell they're just disgusted, they don't want any more information, they have just had it. Early, like in their 20s. I flew to Norfolk, Virginia, I'd never been there. I got off the plane, and their airport was themed. I've never seen that, and the theme they chose was mermaids. They were everywhere. They were like in the carpet, in baggage claim, they're handing you the luggage, they're just everywhere. And I went to the gift shop on the way out because I wanted to get water. There's a girl working in the gift shop. She's about 25 years old. I said, hey, I'm not from here. What's going on with all this mermaid stuff? And she said, and I quote, I don't know. Somebody saw one once. Wow. I thought she truly doesn't give a shit. Bigfoot could have been shopping it in that gift shop. She'd be like, I don't know what your hairy ass is planning on buying, but I close in 5 minutes, all right? I ain't scared of you, Mr. Monster Man. I don't know. Somebody saw one once. Just so disgusted that I even asked. But then, after meeting the mermaid lady, for like the next 3 months, no matter what question I was asked, that's the only answer I would give. I don't know. Somebody saw one once. Because it is so confusing and dismissive to the recipient. But so fun if you're the one saying it. My youngest brother, the one who won't let me speak about Malaysian Flight 370, he helps me with my taxes, because if any state you work in, you have to fill out their forms even if you don't get money back. He called about 6 weeks after I'd met the mermaid lady, and he goes, oh yeah, Kathleen, I'm trying to do your taxes. I'm trying to get all these states. I think you worked in Wisconsin 2 times. You should they have a state withholding tax. You'd be able to get a refund. It's a 3.8%. When you got paid, you should have been given some forms. Do you know where those forms are? I don't know. Somebody saw one once. And I guarantee if you say that, the only thing a person will ever say back is, what? And then...
I need to tell you something, but you gotta come here so I can whisper it to you. You look like a potato.
Fuck off.
Hey, Optimus Prime.
Greetings.
Transform. Hey, Grimlock.
Where's my boy Scott at?
Transform.
Angel D in the house. Cold and coming. Rowie is here. Rowie! Wow. Wow. There's a row in the house.
What's wrong?
Transform.
More time as they come in, and he is going to draw his gun. Our officer then is going to kind of blade off a little bit, duck back into this other kind of room, get his gun out, kind of get close to the guy, and then start going after him. Got 5 or 6 off on him. And again, our bad guy did get 1 shot off and hit our officer with.
It is a true crime show, y'all, after all. Watch this guy go through this massive wave. You see this guy? I got 2 cursors. Wait, you can see? I don't know if you can see. I love this shot, that drone shot from above. That water looks pretty thick and heavy though. He popped right out the back.
Wait, who's talking?
Propaganda, baby.
Red light. Oh my god!
Oh my god.
How did this get in here? Heather! She's always fooling around in the back rooms. You guys don't even understand what I have to deal with the talent in this program. Oh my god. I hope the kids are in bed. This is about as barreled as you're ever going to get right here. I've been there, done that. I want to do it again tomorrow. Hopefully. It could happen. Alright, we got Mr. Sentinel Intelligence has arrived. Meanie Weenie, Meg P, Twizzle Stick. All up in here, my rowdy friends. And here it is, your moment of zen. All right, that's the real baby, and so I got a confession to make today. This is the first time ever. Have I ever shown you my dog? This is my dog. If you haven't seen my dog, that was him sleep. You can't. And no, nothing. It's white, so racist. Okay, let's see here. That was my dog. What was the confession? The confession is I really Meg P'd out. I double Meg P'd. I made Meg P look like a baby. A little baby. Beautiful baby now. I was using the plop machine. I was standing up. And I have the like Jimmy Z's pants, you know. And they fell off my waist while I was, you know, and then so I bent down to pick them up. And I hit my head on the toilet paper dispenser. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty good one. Here it comes. Oh, you ready for the gore? That's it right there. And I see how exactly bald my head is. So that happened. There was something else probably really serious. Who knows? Who knows? Let's get right into it, my friends. And nice to have everybody here. If you're new to the Purge, please hit the subscribe button, jump on in the chat, and please, no bullying. I got a bullying report from one of your classmates, and I don't like that. So please avoid bullying. Alright, and now I gotta switch something here real quick, and we'll get right to it. This is pretty cool. This is about the coolest thing I've ever seen. Here it is.
Queen Elizabeth had no idea who these legendary guitar players were.
Guitarist who you may recognize. Very pleased to meet you. I've got to have an apology to make for making as much noise on your roof.
But it was you on the roof.
It was me.
Yes. Are you also
I'm a guitarist as well, yes.
guitarist?
Mm-hmm.
And here's my favorite moment, when Brian May had to explain who Jimmy Page was.
Jimmy's a hero of mine. It's a model.
Oh, that's nice.
Just very glad.
Nice to see you.
And now she's asking if they've been playing for a long time.
About, 40 years.
Queen Elizabeth had no idea who these legendary guitar players were.
Guitarist who you may recognize.
Unbelievable. Like, oh, how long have you been playing?
This police officer showed up at this woman's home without a warrant. He said he wanted to make sure that her daughter was okay. When she asked for a warrant, he forced his way inside the house.
Do you have a warrant?
No.
That's illegal. Excuse me, you cannot force your way into my home.
The footage of this shocked a judge who dismissed the criminal charges and laid an epic smackdown on this officer.
Mr. Curtis had zero respect for the Constitution, for which he took an oath and swore to uphold. And quite frankly, I was appalled. I've never seen a video like that.
That police officer resigned, but then he was hired somewhere else. And after a few months, he got fired from there. But wait, there's more. Another man came forward with body cam footage that shows this officer trying to collect a private debt using his job and another police officer.
I don't know why he thought he could just intimidate me like that. I don't disagree with you.
And as that judge said, he has no respect for your constitutional rights. This police officer showed up at this woman's home without a warrant. He said he wanted to make sure that her daughter was okay. When she asked for a warrant, he forced his way inside the house.
Do you have a warrant?
No.
That's illegal. Excuse me, you cannot force your way into my home.
The footage of this shocked a
pretty angry, pretty out of control. I have a lot of that tonight. It's not really my intention, but I'm gonna hide this from you guys just for a minute and pull this up. This is the moment I was talking about. This is the video. Twiz, if you want to give it some kind of build up like you did on Swamp Rose's channel, feel free, my friend. And so, okay, so we're all familiar with the case, Idaho 4, Moscow, Idaho, blah, blah, blah. And we all know this iconic picture. Here we go. Alright, so I feel like I didn't do enough for the victims, and so there's something you won't see anywhere else for a while. I'll do a short of that for you guys so you don't have to watch the whole show again. But let me know what you think of that one. And we'll move on here. That one took 3 hours to put together. And you notice the AI does this on the spellings of names on shirts? I don't know why it does that. And then Twiz pointed out that Kaylee's head looked a little funny on this one. And right here when Xana turns, her face kind of... But boy, you sure get Ethan's smile there, don't you? I keep asking for me results here. Let's play it for one more second. This is my moment. I really feel like this is a pretty big... Let you guys see without the guitar in the way here. What is it? Kind of sound like MASH, huh? It basically is MASH. People, kids like, all right, go to bed. Go to bed. So there's a little tribute to the 4. May you rest in peace. And I had a dream again. And it involved Meg P. and her boyfriend. I don't know if you have a boyfriend or what. In this dream, you had a boyfriend. And you were at my apartment. I had this fancy apartment. And we were in the kitchen. And you're like, Kane, your kitchen is such a mess. I can't believe I have to come over here and clean. And I'm like, thank you so much. And she was doing a great job. And so I turned the corner. And then sitting in a chair against the wall was a thin, neatly dressed, very calm Brian Koberger. So that was the first time he's appeared in a dream. And I said, I can't believe, and everybody was like, how's Kane going to react? And I was like, I can't believe you're out of jail. And he said, he just looked forward. He said, I can't either. And then we had a conversation. I don't remember the rest of it. But then, I don't know. We went to Meg P's house, and she had like a little hangout thing over the garage or something like that. It was really cool. Anyway, it was an intense stream. I thought I'd tell you about it right there. So there you go. There's that. Changes things a little bit. Iconic picture. Okay, here we go. Next one. Angel from Great Britain. And I have a couple that I'm going to need you guys to explain to me, honestly. I only put them in here to see if maybe I just don't think good, which is possible. Love, Tina. Come on up here, honey. Take the seat next to Daddy over here. Alright, so let's see here. We got Moscow, Idaho. Investigators working the ongoing case. And if you are not subscribed to Angel Great Britain, shame on you. Please do that, and I'll put a link in the chat for you. And please get over there and check out. She's putting out a lot of content on it. Beautifully broken woman. Alright, so investigators working the ongoing case involving 4 University of Idaho students savagely done. Law enforcement officers are sorting through information on approximately 22,000 Hyundai Elantras that match the description of the one seen near the crime scene at the time of the things. And it was between 20. But investigators will likely not have the assistance of advanced tracking and GPS technology, at least not any software within the vehicle itself, because Hyundai Elantras were not outfitted with BlueLink technology until 2014. Mobile forensics expert Tom Slavinsky told Fox News Digital, "If we're looking for any kind of digital footprint from that vehicle, it's going to be a slim to none," said Slavinsky. Hyundai didn't start putting what's called a BlueLink, which is like North Star, in the Elantra till 2014. It kind of repeated itself, but he's the founder and president of Cellular Forensics. So we did a whole show on this back in October, a year and a half ago or whatever. The car is on trial, Heather. I got to take the emojis off because then I don't see much. Take me right into the danger zone. The blue. All right. Well, I'll tell you. We did a show on Thought Riot about whether there was a GPS in the vehicle. Now, between you, me, and the NSA, I've talked to agents or whatever before, and they've told me that your car emits a radio frequency that they can tune in on and pick up at any time. Now, I don't know if that will be effective retroactively, but if they want to find you, most modern cars have this, and it's something we just don't know about. Okay, so it's another one of those things. So great article, Angel Great Britain. Please subscribe if you can. Tanel Ray has arrived, my friends, and this was too funny. Hopefully we don't go right to commercial on it.
Making America laugh again. We got a new show. It's called No Pardon Needed. It's out now on Fox Nation. Let's watch.
How are they going to teach Joe Biden's speeches to children in school?
Look, my leg hair turned blind. They like touching leg hairs, and it's just not joking around.
I love that speech.
And comedian Tyler Fisher joins us now. He's part of the Fox. Hey, Tyler, we're on TV. Tyler.
Working on my Biden impression here. Come on.
Oh, hey, Tyler, come on. Come on. We got to do the interview.
Oh, you're that son of a bitch, Dad.
I'm his dad.
There are swears in the comedy special, but it's nothing that Biden hasn't called your son. So I just want to say,
there you go.
One sheet of Bounty versus one sheet of the ordinary brand. One sheet of Bounty is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
half of the language is presidentially
What was the other
approved.
One? The horse. What was the other one he called?
One horse pony boy or something.
Or horse pony boy, yeah. And a lot of 1912 sayings nobody knows about.
Right. Are you going to miss him, or have you adopted? You really could segue easily to Trump. You were ready for Trump to take power.
Yes, I was ready. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Because now we have constant communication. How do you keep up with it?
It's daily. Look at what happened with the Colombia thing the other day. Isn't that amazing? The president of Colombia is picking up the immigrants. But I think Trump should go further with it and go, we're going to ban coffee, right? Steve, we love the coffee bean from Colombia, but we're going to do 6 months of a matcha, right? The United States of matcha, no coffee, right? And then they'd just be picking up more immigrants.
Tell us about yourself, because we're excited about your new show on Fox Nation. You have to talk about that.
Sure.
I know you've been on with Joe Rogan. You're on Greg Gutfeld all the time. So thanks for
I'm sitting
Fox.
on his booster seat right now. Yeah.
His phone book.
Sitting on his phone
So
book.
where'd
No,
you-
I love
where'd you
Greg.
grow up?
Greg's
Where'd you
great.
grow up?
I grew up in New Haven, Connecticut, and I got.
Did you watch a lot of Fox growing up?
I was not really allowed to watch Fox, so this is no one in my family will see this. You know, this is like far right stuff right now.
So
this
what
is
changed
extreme.
your mind?
I did not get the COVID vaccine, which my pediatrician said I was too tiny. I was just listening to my doctor, and so I lost my job as a comedian. I couldn't perform. I couldn't act.
Oh, the comedian mandate?
The comedian mandate. Yeah. Nothing says free speech like inject a COVID vaccine in your body. And Fauci just got pardoned for what? For dating back to 2014.
Yes.
I thought I saw the headline, and then I went back to look for the article. I'll look for that, though. Max Smith, welcome in. And hey, what's up, Tip? How you doing? Nice to see you today. And all right, let's keep moving on, my friends. And so this is a little something I got to skip ahead here for a second, and I'm going to put the cover on.
Are you looking for a new fence or gate for your home or property? Type in your address and drop the red pins to create the perimeter of your desired fence. Boom! Take advantage of Everfence's price match guarantees and get a fast and easy online quote.
Repetition of terms like unprecedented. So with this, pause and ask, why is this message being pushed so aggressively? So compare.
Hold on, I got music for this. Hang on. I don't want it to get knocked off of the gaming board here, so to speak. Okay, let's see. There's that. Why are there so many of these all of a sudden? What in the world? There it is. Douglas Outlaw, everybody. Backwood Outlaws. Backwood Beats and Outlaw Rhythm, sorry. And so that should do it right there. Let's go back. Have I gotten there yet? No.
Compare how much airtime different stories are receiving and note any disproportionate focus. The second part here is authority. Trusted figures might shift their tone or positions unnaturally to support the narrative. So watch very closely for expert panelists or endorsements where authority figures might speak outside of their expertise. Pay close attention to that one. Then we have tribe. So messages that polarize opinions or create stark in-groups versus out-groups or exploit our tribal instincts. For example, labeling groups as patriots versus traitors or scientific versus deniers. Be very careful when you hear that language. Finally, we have emotion. So be wary of any communication that triggers strong emotions like fear, hope, or outrage without any clear, verifiable evidence. So emotional responses suppress critical thinking. Emotional responses suppress critical thinking. So as a tip here, analyze the evidence that's presented to you. If facts are replaced by appeals to emotion, you need to be very, very cautious. As an example of this, think about like a news channel repeatedly showing images of empty grocery shelves and panicked shoppers during a food supply scare. It dominates every broadcast and it pushes people into fear-driven behavior. Next, question novelty. Our brains are wired to focus on sudden or unusual changes because they signal potential threats or opportunities. And this is an evolutionary survival mechanism. Psyops exploit this by creating events that break normal expectations, like unexpected crises or dramatic revelations. So ask yourself, why is this new? So consider if the event or somebody's message has been artificially manufactured or timed. Look for patterns like sudden shifts in public opinion, trending hashtags that are unusual, or viral videos that seem very coincidental. So for this one, just picture a new viral video just claims to expose a government cover-up, but it conveniently comes out the exact same day that there's some damaging evidence against some high-ranking official. The timing shifts public focus. All of this is part of the NCI system I developed for teaching tradecraft and extreme psychological operations. And there's even a gigantic textbook for all of this stuff in the description. Definitely not for everybody, but it's definitely the most comprehensive guide in the world on this stuff. So next item, look for multiple sources. Centralized narratives create an echo chamber, and they silence dissent and they narrow perspectives. For example, if all media outlets present identical talking points, it is a humongous red flag. So actively seek out contrarian or independent voices, even if they challenge something that's already in your head. So in reality, an example, during a maybe breaking health crisis, all the major news outlets report on the exact same study, but independent researchers revealed the study was funded by a company selling the solution. So watch for that group speak. Next is identify cognitive dissonance weapons. Let's talk about how this works. So cognitive dissonance comes up when new information clashes with our identity or our beliefs. So psyops exploit the hell out of this by including micro-agreements. Micro-agreements are little, small, seemingly harmless concessions to shape your identity. And over time, you're going to unconsciously align your behavior to reduce that internal conflict. And as a weaponization example of this, a psyop might present you as a part of moral or intelligent enlightenment, like only good citizens do XYZ. If you disagree with that, you risk some identity conflict there. So
this Italian method stopped my snoring instantly. My wife couldn't believe it was that.
That's the guy who pretty much wrote the book on psyops, giving you some heads up on that. I wanted to share it with everybody. I don't have time to play the whole thing. It's pretty long. But you get the idea. So this is the link here. And if I remember, I'll put a link in the description also, so you can find him and watch the rest of that. It's pretty good reading there. What can you talk is here? All right, to know Ray, what can you talk about, man? This is crazy chat tonight. Truth Seeker in the house. All right, I better come with it tonight. Let's see what I got. Got Rochford here in a couple minutes, and this was from Audrey C. DNA. And I liked it. Let me put a pen in my cap if I'm going to try to be smart today. I got a golf pencil. That'll work. Hopefully I don't poke my eye out. Excellent question from a subscriber. What's the difference in secondary transfer and single source DNA? Aren't they both transfer DNA? Are trace, transfer, and touch all the same? I want to make sure I'm not using the wrong terms. I'm surprised this wasn't brought up more at the hearing, especially learning they had other samples of real DNA. And the answer, of course, is a long one. The source of the... Jen, get up here and read this. The source of the DNA is who it came from, their genetic material. Trace is minute amounts of genetic material, so small that Ellie and labs have to blow it up a lot. So in my experience, anytime I zoom in on a pic, it gets blurry. Transfer is the path of travel, distance the DNA sample has gone. Touch DNA is a misnomer. It's not scientific. A prosecutor made it up to persuade a jury a defendant touched a key piece of evidence. The two words touch and DNA tells a story to me. I would definitely confuse it with something touching something, but DNA can come in contact via transfer. I know some scholarly journals that still use the term touch DNA, but it's unprofessional. They should be using the word contact or something else entirely. I think secondary trace transfer DNA should really explain the complexity. DNA can come in contact with anything, and it's not necessarily by a person directly touching something. So, I'm sure you guys are subscribed to Audrey CDNA, but if you're not and you're new to the Purge, give a subscribe to both of us, hit that like button, and do all the YouTube things. Meaty don't bite. Alright, come on in the chat. Let's see what else we got today. Alright, this was my first one I needed an explanation on, because, you know, I'm not so smart sometimes. Heather, you're here somewhere. I saw you. Don't try to hide. What is this picture? Why is it? Somebody said great work. And somebody said black truck. Beyond that, I'm completely lost. So, fill in the blanks for me. Let's see what else. We need a cipher with Heather sometimes. That picture came with other Instagram photos that I had not seen. Many of them. So I thought I'd roll through them real quick. I don't know what you're seeing. I'm seeing something different. Okay. Where is that one? Why is that one not... Oh, that's weird. Oh, it's backwards. I forgot to put it backwards. So there, and then there's more. If you keep going down, then it shuts me off. I'm not going to log into my Instagram. I don't do that. Okay, so this was in Clearwater, I believe. And this guy looks as much of a winner as he is. A 77-year-old woman was watching TV with her husband when the man she tried to help start over in life rushed into her home and stabbed her to death with a large knife. Man arrested. A little late. Reminds me of the... who was it? The Skylar Mead or whatever. So, yeah, they were helping this guy out and, you know... just a couple knife stories. It's knife night. I don't know why. It just happened that way.
I don't mean to alarm you, but we are surrounded by robots right now. Hundreds of them, with new ones popping up every day. Where did they come from? Did everyone just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to build a humanoid robot? Are they all just desperately rushing to copy the Tesla bot? The answer is more complicated than you might think. This robot invasion has been planned for a long time, and we haven't even begun to see what these things are truly capable of. So we are all well aware that robots are nothing new. Even human-shaped ones have been around for quite some time now. Disneyland was taken over by robots back in the 1960s, and...
Okay, those are animatronics. That's not true.
Here's a video of a humanoid robot performing at Disneyland in 2006. Remember Asimo? This thing was first built in the year 2000, but it wouldn't look the least bit out of place in a modern robot demo. It walks around, does a dance, and climbs some stairs, all in a perfectly human-like way, and this robot was built by Honda, as in the people who make the Civic. Humanoid robots and cars have always been a natural pairing. Tesla didn't come up with this on their own, but it is still kind of Tesla's fault.
I was telling somebody today that, like, you know, actually it was Jen. It's like, my kids are growing up. I said, well, get them in robot repair school as quick as you can. If you have kids, there's the future for you. I let the cat out of the bag. There's the future of employment is in robot
that
repair.
Humanoid robots are enjoying a renaissance period at the moment.
Fix a robot.
It all starts with self-driving cars. This is critical for humanoid robot development because an autonomous vehicle is essentially just a robot on wheels, albeit a very simple robot, but it does have a very clearly defined purpose, a use case that can be very easily monetized. This is what early robots like Asimo were missing. Honda could have sold this robot back in the early 2000s, and a few rich people would have bought it just as a neat thing to own, but if any practical buyer ever posed the question, what does it do? Honda would have to concede that it doesn't really do anything other than walk around and dance and climb stairs. Now, robots in the form of autonomous vehicles provide an answer to the question, what does it do? Well, it drives itself from point A to point B. Okay, makes sense. That's a job that I already pay taxi drivers to do for me. If the robot can provide the same services at a lower price, then obviously I'll choose the robot. Except there was no such thing as a car that could drive itself. Not until very recently, and even now it's not that great. So we are still trying to nail down a practical, profitable use case for even the most basic of robots. It's all about AI. Of course it's about AI. Everything is about AI right now. I don't like it any more than you do, but the fact is that without AI, robots are generally useless, with the exception being very specific use cases like Disney animatronics, those giant welding arms in car factories, Roombas, bomb disposal machines. But if anyone expects people to shell out for a general-purpose humanoid robot that will act as their butler and do their bidding, then it's going to need a brain. Going back to the self-driving cars again, this is something that Tesla figured out right around the year 2020. That's when Elon Musk had guaranteed that there would be 1 million robotaxis on the streets of America. And the reason that Elon got that prediction so comically wrong is because, number one, his association with physical reality is thin at best. That's probably the ketamine. But number two, Elon thought that he was solving a hardware problem. This was not the case. Asimov solved the hardware problem 20 years ago, and no one cared, and Honda gave up on him, and they probably just threw him in the trash or something. R.I.P. Asimov, you deserve better, little buddy. What Tesla actually had to solve was a software problem, an AI problem to be more specific. So when 2021 comes around, all of a sudden Tesla is throwing a big party called AI Day and broadcasting to the world that they are an AI company now. Oh, and P.S., they're going to build a humanoid robot. This is just a move to capitalize on something that everyone already knew. If you can train an AI to control a robot car, then you can probably take that same AI and port it over to control a robot person. Both of them are navigating the real world in a three-dimensional space populated by human beings going about their own lives in the uniquely chaotic way that only human beings can operate. If an AI can drive through LA at rush hour, then it can probably go work on a construction site or a McDonald's or a mine shaft. Of course, we are not there yet. There are cars that can drive themselves most of the time in some places, but there are no cars that can drive themselves at all times in all places, and that is fine. The software doesn't need to be perfect right now. There's no immediate or desperate need for robotaxis. We are all getting around just fine, but without full autonomy, the product is a lot more difficult to sell. If I'm going to pay for full self-driving, I want that car to fully self-drive. I don't want to be responsible for babysitting a robot I just paid thousands of dollars for. The whole point of the robot is that it does stuff for me that I don't want to do and don't want to think about.
Talking is so much easier. Okay, while we're on the tech subject here, me and Rochford were talking about, we'll probably get into it, but we're talking about how far behind YouTube is on as far as social media goes. You guys should be able to post a picture or video while I'm up here, be able to voice chat with us. So the new Twitch 2 just came out. Is it Switch or Twitch? Nintendo Twitch. It has voice chat, and it's, you know, it's kind of evolved from the video game, and so I'm waiting for YouTube to do anything constructive with the platform, and it's like everything is retroactive. You know what I mean? So this generation of robots, and it's a nice idea to have somebody in the house to do your dishes and clean your floors or whatever. But then what? Then what? Just standing around staring at you all the time. What would you like next, master? You paid $100,000 for me. I'm over it. So there's that. Okay. So let's keep moving on. And
I used to want to get married too, you know? You know who ruined that for me though? Married people. Because no one's excited about being married. What's the best response you ever get when you ask somebody what married life is like? The best response you get is, yeah, it's great. No, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's like they're asking you, is it good? It's good, right? No, it's good. It's great. How's that new video game you bought? Amazing, dude. Definitively amazing. You have to get this video game. How's marriage? It's good. It's good. It's good for you. Try it. It's good. Most people don't even write their own vows. And when people do write their own vows, they're never impressive. They're never a huge compliment. People always use this one phrase that they're very proud of it. They always say, there's no one else I could be with. That's not a compliment. They're saying there's no one else. I looked everywhere. There's nobody else. Oh, you are the only dummy that wanted any part of this. I used to want to get married too, you know? You know who ruined that?
Pretty much true. I don't know. Dan likes being married. There you go, guys. There's a testimonial for you. He likes it. Is it amazing, Dan? Is it amazing? I'm glad you're happy, brother. All right, let's keep rolling here. And I'm getting to the Rochford point now. This should be interesting. Former U.S. ambassador to Venezuela to speak at University of Idaho. And here he is. Here's the guy. You can zoom there. And I will be very interested in what he has to offer the students there about the socialist tidal wave that swept across the world, starting in Iran, moving very rapidly into South America and taking over Venezuela. And I blame it for losing my cousin there, Sandro, rest in peace, and my aunt, sister. Love them very much. And now we are paying the price here, finally, even more, with the gangs being released from the prisons and sent over the border to us. And now ICE is, if you're following the news on that, ICE is specifically targeting, I think, because every headline I see, it's, rounded up 7 Venezuelans. So these must be some type of high-ranking thing, is the only thing. Here's another one. Aurora Police, I'll go ahead and turn it around. I forgot it. I'm sorry. Rochford, if you're ready, get your motor running. As soon as you want to call in is fine. And we'll chit-chat and get the Rochford files underway here, everybody. So, the Aurora, I guess that's Colorado. The crime analyst supervisor charged with official misconduct. I shouldn't have done it. I got a really crazy story from, hey, Translucent, how are you today? From the, who put that one up? We'll get to it. The Aurora Police Department's top crime analyst, Frank Fredericks, 60, was charged this week with 9 counts of official misconduct. Now remember, they have sovereignty, so they don't lie. They mistruth, or whatever that term is, and then they don't commit crimes. They have misconduct. So they put their lives on the line for us, and thank God for the blue, right? And at times, and other times, it seems like this sovereignty needs to be looked into a little bit, because if you're doing an awful crime, you should be justly punished, not just fired and move on to another department like they've been doing for so many years, like the Catholic Church did. In a phone call Wednesday evening, Fredericks admitted he used department computers for non-law enforcement purposes. I ran a query on my husband to attain a VIN on a vehicle that is in his name. Is it wrong? Yes, I shouldn't have done it. Court records show the 9 charges were filed Monday and stem from incidents between March 22nd, 2023 and April 29th, 2024. He resigned from the Aurora Police Department after only about 18 months on the job. He resigned due to a difference of opinion with APD command staff over internal reorganization, and he had a team of 7 crime analysts. According to the online resume prior to the manager's crime, he worked for 26 years in intelligence for a law enforcement task force aimed at reducing the flow of illegal drugs in the Rocky Mountain region. And so here again is another problem with the sovereignty, is the Aurora police are going to be the ones that are going to be looking into it and investigating the case. Today's show brought to you by Orange Drink. Tony's here. Twiz is watching. Let's see what else I got today. Ontario will be ripping up its $68 million Starlink contract with SpaceX, Doug Ford says. And so the contract that they had with SpaceX was for Amethyst Noir. Hello. Is to have internet, right? And so they're going to basically punish the Canadian citizens. And so this continues this story. I just wanted to show you one of the examples of the way that you act like when you're a big baby. Big David Marcus liberal media lies to protect Biden were even worse than you think. Let me get through this commercial here. And I'm not sure. You know how it does it to me on the videos? They'll play some of their video.
I wanted you to believe that Joe Biden was at the top of his game. He had the reins of government, and he knew exactly what he was doing. All these criticisms from Fox and yours truly and other people questioning Biden's cognitive decline, it was just mean and it was wrong. Remember?
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years.
And this kept going month after month after month until they couldn't lie any longer. Or, sorry, they just weren't very informed. All their friends in the White House were just keeping the truth from them. Well, now with Trump about to take office, we're learning the truth about a lot of things. How legislation works, the border, and now Biden's decline. The Wall Street Journal has another excellent report that sheds more light on what Biden was really dealing with. For starters, he had trouble meeting with his staff on a typical time schedule. We talked about this, actually, when his day would actually begin. So, again, we were right. Here's what it says. Ideally, the meetings would start later in the day, since Biden has never been at his best first thing in the morning. Some of the people said if the president was having an off day, meetings would be scrapped altogether. Remember how we would say that he called a lid? He often called a lid at like 11 in the morning. And, oh, that's mean. That's not true. He's doing a lot of work in the residence. Well, this wasn't something that, just happened slowly over time. It turned out, according to this report, it happened during his first months in office. Again, we said this during the campaign of 2020. The guy was half the time non-compos mentis. On one such occasion in the spring of 2021, a national security official...
That's just the tip of the iceberg as far as the dementia goes. And if they were willing to lie about that, what else did they cover up? And so, apparently, well, we'll get into it. Let's keep moving on. The tariffs are affecting companies like Temu. All right, we got Rochford here. Let's check it out. Come to save me just in time. What up, my brother?
Hey.
How you doing?
The tariffs. Good.
Mute the volume.
Companies like.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Perfect. What's up, man?
Yeah, I was just listening to the Biden thing that you were talking about. Laura Ingraham on there.
Yeah, and a couple of them there, right?
Pretty big cover-up. Quite fascinating.
Who's surprised? What a shocker, right?
Right, what we were talking about earlier when Mike Johnson said the thing. That was pretty interesting.
Mike Johnson?
Yeah, remember we were talking about it earlier? Mike Johnson asked Biden about the stuff in Louisiana. He's like, I didn't sign that. Yes, you did. What that basically says, though, is that somebody else is writing the policy and just getting the old man to sign. I feel sorry for Joe Biden, man.
Well, it wasn't just that, though. They were covering up for all kinds of things, and they were covering it up by using his dementia to get away with shit.
To get their shit passed.
But I was just talking about Temu, and I that might be the very next article here. Let me check it out. No, this is another body floating in Clearwater Beach.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, and this is like the fifth one in a couple months in Tampa Bay anyway, where this woman kind of floated up, and then she passed away after he tried to give her CPR, and it says Clearwater homicide detectives are investigating her death. Good luck. Anything to do with water, it's like they just throw in the towel. I mean, no pun intended. They literally can't seem to. They've called people drowning, and they invented a term for it. In Idaho, they had a drunken college frat boy drown in 2 inches of water.
Oh, yeah, fell off a bridge or something?
No, he just wound up in the water, and they called it a dry drowning.
Jeez.
And when I worked at a restaurant, they used to be like, Kane, go out to the shed and get us some dry water. It's like, is this a joke? The terms they come up with, unreal. Idaho is just off the chain like that.
Yeah, bro. I was watching your video here earlier when that cop just forced his way into the house.
Yeah.
So I'm all about law and order, but I gotta say something. These cops are. I mean, there's some good police officers out there. Don't get me wrong. I've run into them, but I've run into the cops a lot in my life. And what they want to do is they want to cause trouble, and they have the upper hand to take you to jail, and it's ridiculous. These guys need. You got to be 4 years to be a school teacher. You need 4 years to be a police officer. I'm sorry. These police officers, a lot of them are out of control, and they ruin people's lives, bro. It's not like, you get handcuffed, you go to jail, and you're out in 10 minutes. You go in there and suffer for 12 hours, I know.
Or 2 years.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's not even go in that far, but yeah. I mean, look at the January 6 people. Trespassing, and they've been in jail for 3 years. I know there was some violent ones, don't get me wrong, they should be, in trouble, but, I mean, if I punch a cop, I'll probably get 3 years in prison. These guys are already in for 3 years, and only maybe 3 of them out of the 1,500 punched a cop,
Right.
Yeah, the cops are out of control. So I can understand the Democrats saying defund the police. I don't think that's what we should do, but I understand. And it's not just because they're, they target black people, because they do.
They do.
And I know this because when I was growing up, I had long hair and a Metallica jacket. And they profiled me because I had weed on me. You know what I mean? They knew I did. I never got caught for it because I already smoked it before they got me. But they chased me around my town, and, you know, because I had long hair and a Metallica jacket.
Right.
And I saw them try to start trouble. They tried to start trouble with me. Even here in Florida. I've gone up against the police a lot of times, bro.
Well, when you talk about the training program, it's literally like a 6-week training program where they
want dumb police officers so that they'll go out and just bring people in.
Yeah, without any kind of, they'll just obey orders. In other words, yeah.
I got to top that off with, I've seen a lot of police officers do a really good job.
Absolutely,
One day I took a picture of it. I was on my way to Sam Ash, going to work, and I was sitting at the light, and I saw these cops pull up to this person in a wheelchair and this other person on the corner, and I'm like, really? You're going to fuck with a person in a wheelchair? But you know what he did? He got out and gave him a box of donuts. I couldn't believe it. I had to post about it on Facebook.
Here's the problem with that, is that you typically will run into extremely nice and fair police officers, but you don't expect it when you get that one that they warn you about.
I gotta tell you what, I gotta give a shout out to what I call the Triple PD, the Pinellas Park Police Department. I've had to deal with those people multiple times over the past 30 years, and I had a couple run-ins, but 90% of my dealings with those people were very professional. I called the chief one night. I was so mad. But I've had really good luck with the Pinellas Park Police Department. You know, because I had to call the police on people. I had people call the police on me for noise. You know what I mean? But I've had really good luck with the Pinellas Park Police Department. I think those guys do a really great job. Just putting that out there.
They're a small force, but they have a good reputation. They lost a couple officers about a year ago, I remember. But in general, I think it throws you off. Because you think you're, okay, here's my license, here's my registration, let's move on. And then you get somebody that's maybe out of line, and it's a whole different experience for you.
Yep.
So,
yep.
I had my title I meant to put over my... Did you see my AI video that I did?
I did. I commented AI.
What did you think of it, though? Is it pretty good?
Well, I don't know the case like you do, and I don't know that picture, but from what I understand is that was just a picture, and the AI brought it to life. And I saw a couple people in the comments saying, oh, they don't look quite the same, but I thought it was pretty friggin' awesome, bro.
Yeah, the two
I
at
thought
the...
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean...
Because it kind of brought them back to life, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And they this is one of the last pictures that they took, as far as we know, before they were lost. And they were all...
It's really sad. Almost brings a tear to your eye, you know?
Well, you see all these people in here completely dedicated to this out-of-control, nutty case. That everybody in here has given up something in their life to try to figure it out. And, you know, they look a little different when they turn, the two girls at the bottom. But what are you saying?
I said, except for me.
Well, you've been sucked into it somehow a little bit here, aren't you? You're on the show.
Yeah, I have.
But
I don't really know a lot about the case. I just go on what you guys are talking about, like when we had the discussion about the DNA and stuff.
So I want to tell everybody, I meant to say something earlier. If you would like to do some of this stuff with your own pictures, you can. This is the link for that. And it's if you don't remember to click on it now, it's called Klein AI. And it takes about 3 hours to generate a 10-second video. So you can fool around with that. Hey, what's up, Douglas Outlaw? How you doing? Nice to see you today.
Wow.
And
3 hours, huh?
it said 3 hours, and then it was actually probably 2 hours, like 2.5 maybe. I kind of took a nap.
That's a long time.
Well, I started it, and I figured it would take a long time, and I just took a nap, and I woke up, and it was done. I couldn't believe the results, because, I mean, it's literally bringing back somebody from beyond, that we're completely dedicated to here,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. They made a lot of weird AI videos.
Well, the thing about AI, it doesn't do... I was pointing out that if you notice her sweatshirt, it used to say Idaho, and now it says NAN. And then I've noticed it does the finger... Or Jen pointed out that when it's an AI picture, that it has trouble with fingers. That's one of the things.
It also has a lot of issues with letters. I know, because I tried to make logos.
Yeah.
With the Meta AI on Facebook.
Right.
And you got to do like 5 different ones before it gets it right. But anyway, one of the biggest problems with AI maybe not the biggest, but one of the main problems that they used to talk about, in the past year is how many letter R's are in the word strawberry. And a lot of them can't figure it out.
What's up, B-Real? How you doing? The word strawberry. Forget about dairy.
There's 3 R's and they can't figure it out.
What if you put dairy?
They say that they've overcome that, but like you were saying, it messed up the letters on the shirt.
Yeah.
It's got a problem.
It actually says Dan now.
Well, Dan will be happy.
Yeah, Dan will like that. So what else is going on, brother?
Well, I got the Rochford files ready for you. If you
All right, rip away, brother.
Okay, so Kane B's The Purge, February 3rd, 2025, the Rochford files.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, number one, I got what's gone on in the past couple days. I don't really like to talk about politics, but we do a little bit. Everybody was all worried that Trump's tariffs were going to, a trade war. But guess what? Mexico and Canada both caved. Mexico's going to put 100,000 troops on the Mexican border.
Yeah.
And Canada also is going to put $1 billion into new equipment like helicopters on the border, the northern border. And they're going to put 10,000 more personnel, and they're going to get a fentanyl czar.
A fentanyl czar?
Hopefully they do better than our last border czar.
Well,
sorry.
Going back to the article I read about the Starlink, I think that Quebec is sort of run...
What a bunch of babies.
Well, I think Quebec is run as sort of another country, the French-Canadian. And so that's where that's coming from. This isn't from the Trudeau, Alberta, all that stuff area. It's
Actually,
Eastern
the premier of Alberta yesterday or the day before this, she said, she's on board with Trump. So that's just one province. I know a lot of this Canada stuff because I was born in Canada. So I follow Canadian politics. I'm actually an immigrant to the United States.
Yeah, you're one of those Canucks.
I was 2 days old when I immigrated.
So but you got papers, huh?
I have a Canadian birth certificate.
But you don't qualify for their health care, do you?
I wouldn't want to. Fuck that. Their health care is shit.
I understand you wait 2 weeks if you're having a heart attack. So hopefully you can hang out and make it.
Why is it? Why can't healthcare be like McDonald's? You know what I mean?
I think they're trying to make it that way with these emergency, what are those outposts or whatever, the little commercial hospitals, The well care.
Across the street, there's a med back right over there.
Yeah, the well care or whatever they call it, the private care, but it's super expensive, dude. I went there with a broken arm, and just all they did was put it in a splint, and it wasn't even a splint. It was like a blow-up bag, you know, and they charged me $10,000.
Yeah, it's
with an X-ray.
It's unbelievable.
But then I called them when I got the bill and like, oh, sorry, we made a mistake. I mean, I think they're just so used to overcharging. It's like with Moscow, they're just so used to getting away with bullshit that they're just like, oh, oops. They don't even give a crap. It's like $10,000 for something that, you know, X-ray maybe $1,000, and then put it in a splint and say go on your way. You know, I ended up having to have surgery.
Yeah,
I should have sued him.
It's utter bullshit.
Yeah, the medical thing is very corrupt.
But here's the thing. If you break your arm, go to the emergency room, get it fixed, right?
Yeah, please don't be like me.
Go to your doctor and say, oh, I got a headache. Next thing you know, 2 months later, you're hooked on opiates. Not anymore, because they won't give you opiates anymore, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So hopefully RFK will get in there and really help us out. And actually, I'm going to skip to number 4 or number 3 because I want your viewers and listeners to know something that's really helped me out. I've studied nutrition. I'm no scientist. I'm no doctor or anything like that, but I had a heart attack like 20 years ago and had a stent put in. So I've been studying stuff. But I want and I've told you, Kane, before about my blood shot. I take a shot of blood every morning. And this is what it is. All organic seasonings from Walmart, but they're organic. I take some cayenne pepper, some ginger, some turmeric, and a crack of black pepper, and then I squeeze a lemon, organic of course, and I swish it around and I take that shot every morning.
Nasty.
And I've never felt better.
I was taking turmeric for a while, and a lot of people recommended turmeric for sure. I try to get
if you're using turmeric, though, here's the thing. There's a different property in the turmeric that's good for you. And you have to have the black pepper in it to release it. I know it's weird, but I've listened to 1,000 different videos with 17 different people. So anyway, the blood shot, it's cayenne pepper, ginger, turmeric, a crack of black pepper, and then squeeze a lemon in there. And all organic, of course. You can get it all at Walmart. It's not that much more expensive. And it's really good for your health. And, of course, eating organic meat and vegetables. So anyway, number 2 on my list, Beyonce won Country Album of the Year. What the fuck? Not that she can't sing or anything. I never heard her album. But I don't think there's like a bunch of great musicians. Maybe there is. I don't know. I just thought that was really weird. Those award shows are a bunch of crap, I think.
Oh, they've gone to total hell, dude. It's insane. But Hollywood's gone to shit, and they're just letting it all out in the open now. And it's pretty much burned down.
I didn't watch it. I just heard, and I was just like, really? Beyonce?
Yeah, I think Jay-Z got record number of Grammys or something, too. But
well, I don't care who gets stuff, but for Beyonce to get Country Album of the Year,
she
I know she did a country album, but is it that good? Are there real musicians? Is there some chicken picking? You know?
Right. It's probably...
She's talking about a Ford truck and a dirt road and a beer.
Country has gotten away from its roots a lot lately.
In the 80s, country was done. When they dropped the Western. Because it used to be country and Western.
Well, they made a resurgence. Actually, country was just called American music. That's what everybody listened to. Like, you know, growing up, that was the main thing. You had Q105, which was pop radio, And then you have like one other pop radio, and then the rest was either rhythm and blues or country or gospel. And
I don't know when and where you grew up, but that's not how it was for me.
Well, I'm talking about when I was a little kid in the 70s.
Yeah, me too. I grew up with country and western.
That's what I'm saying. The rest was dominated by country and western. That was American music.
Well, they didn't call it American music back then. I never heard anyway.
That's
and we had a radio station.
That's definitely what they called it. Like in the 50s and 60s, it was just considered American music. That was, the typical thing before like rock and roll really took hold. And that kind of persisted up into the 70s. Anyway, so what else you got?
Okay, so the last thing on my list is another kind of a health thing for people out there that might want to help their brain a little bit. Since today is Mushroom Monday, I just wanted to let everybody know that if you microdose psilocybin, which are, magic mushrooms, I've been doing it for over a year now, and I can't take a lot of them. You and I talked about this.
I'm gonna have to mute you, Robert, Rochford. Let's move on to another topic, bro. Thanks, man.
Well, no, this is all over YouTube.
It's not
legal.
So what else up?
Not much.
All right, I'm gonna get Jen up here. We'll probably have you on in a couple days again.
All right, sounds good. I'll talk to you later.
Let me play you out here. Hold on, let me get your song up there. That was Rochford, everybody. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate it, brother. And we'll catch you on the next one. I'll probably talk to you later.
Sounds good.
All right, bro.
He's the Purge. Hell yeah.
Thank you, man.
All right, later.
See ya. All right, we got Jen. Whenever you're ready to come up, I'll keep rocking here at your convenience. And she's got some big stuff for you. So let's see. This was something that came up. Speaking of the riot, I was trying to squeeze this in before I got to Rochford, and it's another one of those things that make you go, Indiana January 6th rioter who was recently pardoned by Trump, killed by sheriff's deputy. Jasper County, an Indiana January 6th rioter recently pardoned by President Trump, was shot and killed. Matthew Huddle, 42, of Hobart, Indiana, was fatally struck by gunfire during a traffic stop involving a deputy with Jasper County Sheriff's Department. Police reported Huddle was pulled over, and anyway, he had a gun. They're not saying what happened in the incident. It's like right up there with the Pizzagate guy getting taken out by cops. I mean, it's like when Rochford's saying that you got this 6-week training program and you get people out there and they want them, the dumber the better as a rookie, because you're just going to obey orders and go with the line of direction by your superiors. So now are they basically making them hitmen? Because you got to remember, a cop can kill somebody and they have diplomatic immunity or whatever the immunity thing. So here's high-profile people getting taken out by cops. And I can't say what happened in either situation. It just smells funny. So if it walks like a duck, like the cops say. Sigma Delta Tau sorority placed on cease and desist for hazing. And we might have talked about this a little while earlier. I wanted to follow up from Rochelle. The IU, Indiana University chapter of sorority Sigma Delta Tau, was placed on the university's cease and desist list. Effective January 28th, all organizational activities are suspended indefinitely. According to IU's disciplinary log, it was suspended for hazing. This comes after the 2025 rush process ended with bid day on January 19th. They don't get into what exactly happened. It's a short article, and it seems that way whenever they talk about sororities. They never even tell you what the incident, but it had to be pretty big if they shut down their entire operation, more or less. And so it is another thing that makes you say, why do we need these organizations? They are just providing a gateway to heavy drug use. In a lot of cases, they are selling them themselves. So there's that. And then this is exciting. Final Destination Bloodlines. Trailer signals return of gory franchise after 14 years. And I had a clip, but you can't play the movie clips. And I wanted to play the trailer for you, but it'll be another fun experience to go see. And here it is. This is, if you want to watch the trailer, I'll put the link for you. What's that, Jen? Something words. Oh, yeah, whenever you're ready to come up, Jen, that's fine. Okay, so this is another video. This is the second one. And of course, Heather never answered the question. And I played that first video of the lady. The very first thing I played. So Heather would have another way to answer. She doesn't answer questions. If you remember that one from a minute ago, what did she say? I don't know. Somebody saw one once. Something like that. This one is out there. I don't even know.
Easiest rabbit hole.
See if you can follow it.
And the story is crazy. And it goes like this. So
I'm telling you.
So crazy. Have you heard the story of a woman who had a baby with her husband? When he got DNA tests done, it showed that he was not the father. The mother insisted that he was the dad. So they took repeated tests. Every time it came back that he was not, they ended up getting divorced. Man disowns the family. He leaves his child because he believes it's not his child. Upon further testing, they find out that that man had an unborn twin and that he is a chimera, meaning that he absorbed his unborn twin in the womb. He has 2 sets of DNA within him. The other embryo dies, the living embryo absorbs the cells. So as the story goes, he is the father. He did father those children, but it wasn't his DNA, and that's why it didn't show up on the paternity test. It was the DNA from his unborn brother. Well, obviously, I'm like, this is insane. I gotta find the confirmed story, which led me to this story, which is a different one. But there was a husband and wife who needed to use artificial insemination to get pregnant. Later on in life, they did 23andMe and they found out that the father's relationship was only 25% accurate to the son, not 50% as it should be. So they thought the fertility clinic made a mistake. They inseminated the wife with the wrong man's sperm. Long story short, they found out that he has his twin's DNA and that's what fathered the children. But that's not the original story, so we keep going. So in 2002, this woman separated from her children's father. So she applied for state assistance. State assistance required a paternity and maternity test. The test came back and said that the father was the father, but she is not the mother. And she was like, I pushed these children out of my, I know I'm the mother. So she was going through pictures, records showing these are my children. And the state was like, DNA don't lie. So they filed a lawsuit against her for welfare fraud. So she goes to court. She presents herself.
I love how DNA don't lie. Check the. I mean, this is nuts.
Photos from her previous pregnancies, pictures with her children as infants. And the court was just like, you know what, we need to put these kids into foster homes, but separate them. Separate foster homes until we figure this out. Oh, by the way, this whole time she was pregnant with her third. The mother requested that the court postpone doing anything until the third child was born and they can DNA test that third child. And when that happened, again, it came back as not hers. And then the court was like, but DNA don't lie. And if this was like 100 years ago, we probably would have called her a witch and burned her at the stake. But she's not a witch. So they ran a slew of tests. They finally found the DNA within her cervix, and it matched her maternal grandmother. Crazy, but that's not this story. And then I found this. This 29-year-old woman married to a 31-year-old male had a daughter, 5 years old. Husband got a DNA test, didn't match his DNA. He was like, you cheated on me. And she was like, I never cheated on you. He decides he wants a divorce. They're separated. He's mad at her. He's dissociated. She posts on Reddit asking what she should do. Everyone's telling her all the different tests that they need to do. So they do the test, and guess what? The daughter is neither of theirs. The hospital mixed it up. They're raising someone else's daughter. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, like, their daughter's just with another couple that's being raised. At this point, I can't confirm whether the original story is true. Now I'm starting to question whether my kids are genetically my kids. Anyways, hope that provides no clarity for you about the original story, because I still can't get any.
All right, everybody, we got Jen on the phone lines. Caller, what's your name? Hey. Welcome in, Jen from Criminal Confidential, my star of my show. And kids go to bed. All right, let's see. Now it's going to get real. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I got a little, I think I'm getting sick. I don't know.
Oh, yeah? You're feeling under the weather, huh? You're still cold up there, I guess, right?
Huh?
Are you still, it's still pretty cold up there?
Yeah, it's freezing.
Yeah, we're, it goes into the 60s at night, and it's 75 during the day.
Oh, that's bikini weather. It's beach weather.
It is insane. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how beautiful the weather is. So, it's been nice. I'm sorry you're feeling down. So what's going on? What were you talking about just now? Oh, the Chimera.
Oh,
yeah.
A long time ago, where they had tested this guy who got bone marrow transplant, and a year after his transplant, he had they tested different DNA samples. Like some were buccal swab or buccal, whatever you say, and other different forms of DNA in his body. Some had the donor, some had a mix, but his sperm in particular, the sperm had 100% of his donor's DNA, none of his. So like he could go and impregnate someone, I guess, and it would be the other guy would be the father. Like, it's crazy.
Okay, wait, you talk so fast sometimes. Hold on, let me get this straight.
The guy had the bone marrow transplant.
Oh, so his sperm took... Okay, so yeah,
His sperm was 100%. The DNA in his sperm was the donor's DNA, 100% of it. Other parts of his body, for instance, a cheek swab, had a mix of his DNA and then the donor. But his sperm in particular had 100% of his donor's DNA.
Hey, Amy Conway, how you doing? So you're saying that the sperm comes from the bone. Oh, man. Thanks for being here, everybody. Tonight, if you're new to the Purge, we got Jenn on. We got Rochford here tonight. And I am Kane B, your KV Wavy host. So, yeah, of course, the Chimera and the bone marrow donor, that's a rare case. But it does show the infallibility of the process, right?
Right.
And here you have the state basing decisions on it with a hard no, with a hard, hey, that's too fast, what's up? With a hard no. And they're ready to separate these people's children in this way. This woman's like, I know they're my children, I pushed them out of my body.
Right.
You know, but they fail to see, they fail to, as Doug says, wrap their head around it. They can't wrap their head around that sometimes there's variables, exactly. And in this particular case with us, we have his father's DNA as a match, not his. Is that right?
Right.
So here they already have a fallacy in their Yeah, I remembered I'd heard it somewhere. I couldn't remember exactly where it came from. I'd like to pull up that article that you had. That was a good one. So what else happened? You went to dinner the other night, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I keep getting happy birthday wishes. It was not my birthday. FYI, it was my daughter's birthday.
I told it was your daughter's birthday, I think. I don't know what I said.
But thank you for everyone who said happy birthday.
Did you hear we got a hush room for Rochford? Every time he brings it up, I gotta put him in the hush room. That was the funniest thing I've ever read. What were we saying now? I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. I'm out of it. My brain is foggy from medicine. The DNA thing?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, we're talking about the the possible variables, and it's like DNA is just like marketed basically to the public and potential future jury members as the end-all be-all without any, acknowledgement, even in the media. And there's no acknowledgement that there's guilty DNA, quote unquote, like sperm, blood, saliva,
right.
And then there's innocent DNA. I mean, in my opinion.
Well, the military doesn't accept. Is it transfer DNA as in military court? And some states don't either. So it goes to show you that it's an unreliable thing. And here you have the perfect example of Hitler with the one thumbnail that I did where he had all the brown shirts, thousands of brown shirts behind him, because he knows better. I know that he knows better than when you just hear the word DNA that you automatically say, oh, woo, 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 this guy's guilty. But you have him propagating that misnomer, and then 350 million or 340 maybe million people right behind him believing the same thing, which is what you're going to get with a jury pool. And I don't care how many Bicca Barlows you bring in and Leah Larsons or whatever to explain it, they're going to hear blah, 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 DNA was there. Blah, 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 DNA was there. And that's when you see Hitler putting this act on that, oh, my brain hurts from hearing the word IgG, it says everything you know, because then he's going to play that up to the jury and be like, no, don't listen to them. You know what's right. You know it's DNA. It's like, it's like as confident as a fingerprint. But no, there are different types, and this one is in a very... Now, did you say you had an FBI van out front?
Oh my god. It was probably just some asshole joking around like you said you did. But yeah, my Wi-Fi it said FBI surveillance van. I'm like, oh great.
It said FBI surveillance van.
But I can't find it again. It's not there anymore. So I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm probably on a list just because of who my ex was, but I hope not.
I wouldn't put it past them to make that their own Wi-Fi thing just to fuck with people. Because what are you gonna do? I mean, really.
That's not cool.
Yeah, that'll make you paranoid right there.
I mean, this case already makes me paranoid enough, and then the guy digging at holes outside my window, and then now FBI surveillance van. Like, come on. They're just someone's bugging on me.
I wonder how many people...
Justifies everything. All my paranoia justifies it all.
Yeah, because most people don't look at what the other Wi-Fi names are. You just find yours and get it over with, put the password. I wonder how many people actually got with that FBI van out front thing. So this is a fun one. A Filipino food truck opens in Moscow. I wonder how accepting they'll be. Talk about out-of-towners. I wonder how well this food truck's going to do. It's like, I don't know if you can see the picture. It's like a camper van that's been converted into a roach coach. And I guess you got to have connections to be able to make it in Moscow. Otherwise, they're going to chop you up. No pun intended there. That was about. Anyway, so yeah, no. You've been working on some other stuff you're not ready for yet, or what do you think?
Yeah, I can't get my laptop. Just won't turn on. I don't know if it's the charger. I ordered a charger, but it's not here yet. So I don't know if it's the charger or it's a short. It's been getting really hot. I'm probably hacked, but yeah. So I can't finish editing what I was working on.
I have some of the stuff. If you want me to pull it up, and we could just discuss it.
That was wait. What stuff?
The email that you sent me.
No, not all of it.
Let me see what I have. I'll mute us real quick. I'll put you on. I'll put you in the hush room real quick, and we'll talk about whether or not we can talk about it, because some of it was very compelling, and where was it here? Let me see. Jenn. There it is.
Yeah, let me pull up the email and see.
You have a couple different. Okay, this is one I know we can talk about. This is a hole in the closet in the house after it was wrecked, and you want to talk about that? You circled it there with a yellow pen or something.
Yeah.
What do you? This is under the.
No, it simply looks like some sort of. Like it looks like the stairs go down in the closet that's right there between the kitchen and I guess the back stairs that go to the third floor.
Yeah.
And I remembered how they were like removing all this stuff from they were like bringing boxes of hangers and plastic storage bins and all kinds of things into the kitchen. Right? You can see it.
Right. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Okay, go on with that.
Yeah. So, listen, I fully believe that there's, at the very least, a half basement or some sort of crawl space, something, and that could very well be the entrance because there's clearly a hole you see in that picture, and maybe they were taking stuff out of the closet in order to access the entrance to basement.
So when the police were moving the stuff around in the kitchen, we wondered why they were moving stuff at a crime scene. Perhaps that was the stuff that was blocking this entrance.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, yeah.
Yeah, and you wonder maybe if that was just like stuff like piled on there to block it.
It's stuff that was in the closet being stored.
Well, maybe not. I wonder now.
They're pretending to be each other, and Kaylee opens that closet to get like a broom or something. You can tell like other stuff is stored in that closet.
Well, I wonder if the criminals, perhaps put more stuff to cover the hole, thinking that it wouldn't be found. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe that's where they're waiting.
That's why they had to move so much stuff. I don't know, but that would
move, like where were those boxes? They were clearly not. They look like they had been laying around, a while. It was like a box with hangers sticking out, just like old boxes. You could tell that they weren't, they weren't Kaylee's if she was packing to move out, I would say, in my opinion, because they just looked raggedy. So, in my opinion, they were probably in a storage closet collecting dust, and they had to move them out of the way for whatever reason, and they brought them into the kitchen. But why?
Okay.
Talk about her, but I don't want to put too much. I don't want to show the U-Haul picture and all that. Did I send you the article? I emailed you the article about her. We can read the article.
Okay. You want to read it? Or want me to read it?
No, my throat's hurting. You have to read.
Okay. You want to give us a preface on it?
Yeah. Let me find it. I didn't send it to you. Let me send it to you. Give me a second.
I have it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to?
I was going to send you the whole article.
I just have the yellowed out part.
Yeah, you want me to send you the whole article?
Well, I'll read this part.
Okay, so just read that part then. That's fine.
But did you want to lead up to it at all with anything?
Yeah, sure. Are we broccoli right now, or are we live?
We're live.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I switched over because you said okay.
Okay, so basically, I remember how...
Who is Brooke Miller? Let's start there. Who is Brooke Miller?
Brooke Miller is Jack Decor's aunt.
Okay.
She's the one who also, her name is on all those GoFundMes and all of that. The Give, Send, Go, whatever that other website is. She started those for the G's. She started the one for the car, to pay off the car. Like, she literally has started at least 3 that I know of. She lives in Coeur d'Alene, has heavy ties to the January 6th thing in Washington. Her website, she always posting flyers of Patriot Front of North Idaho. And then I remembered how there was an interview, the G's were talking about how Kaylee was like very conservative and into conspiracy theories. And I just thought that was a little interesting little connection. Because Coeur d'Alene is where there was a protest. There was it was like Pride Day, I guess, and they ended up arresting like 31 guys in the back of a U-Haul van who were there to protest against LGBTQ. So, I don't know. I just found that a little.
That was the one.
Curious. I'm looking into it more, but you know.
This is. I pulled up the picture now of Kaylee and Brooke and Jack Decor in front of the U-Haul.
Right.
And do you want to talk about that a little further?
No, I mean, I don't know. This is what I'm working on right now, so.
Because
I don't
also.
Give away too much just yet, but yeah.
I'll just brush on it real quick.
What?
I'll just brush on it real quick, and I'll act like it's mine. I'm just the beauty of this outfit here. What we've seen with the U-Hauls is obviously you got cheap fry, and right.
Yeah.
And okay, so never before I don't think have we seen a police chief or captain or whatever load up the belongings to go nowhere for these victims and drive himself off in a U-Haul. And what that tells me is that he had to do the job himself, so that he knows that it was done right. Because if this stuff wound up somewhere else, there might be a problem. As in with the house. If somebody else found out what was going on in the house, there would be a problem. The best way to get rid of it, Jen, is what?
To keep it, it's like they're playing hot potato between like an inner circle. They're just keeping it in the family, you know?
Well, I'm saying the best way to handle the house of evidence is to demolish it, right? And so what was the other thing? And so what do they use U-Hauls for? There was, 20 people in a U-Haul being human trafficked, right?
Right, and there was also a police call log where they, someone called in that they saw a bunch of men and women getting into the back of a U-Haul, and there was like couches inside and stuff at the Corner Club.
At the Corner Club?
Yeah.
That's not your typical party bus, is it?
No. Corner Club actually has their own little party bus, side note.
Yeah, usually they have windows, doors.
Yeah, this is not a party bus, no.
That's a comfortable. If it was a human trafficking thing, having couches in it, that's a pretty comfortable situation.
Oh, let me send you something. I forgot. Where was it?
Take your time.
Let me try to find it. Hold on.
Yeah, no. I have one I'm trying to get to, and I have all this silliness here. What did you guys think of that TikTok video? It's crazy, right? Let's see here. I think this is one of them. Nope. That's the food truck. Okay. This is one. I don't know.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, hold on 1 second.
No, yeah, I'm just talking to the crowd here.
I just gotta take a call real quick. Hold on.
I'm working the crowd. Okay, there. Thanks, Jed, for being here. All right. Woo. No, she'll be back. Okay, so I don't know what I guess it was a federal mandate or decision to allow gay marriage. So I find this headline here odd, that the Idaho state legislature has decided to vote to end gay marriage. So I don't know that it was ever a state-by-state thing. Maybe there's some states that don't allow it. I can't say for sure. I don't recall at this particular time. I can't wrap my mind around it. I noted that and I saw it and I wanted to share with you guys. And this is where I was trying to get with Jen. When she comes back, we'll get to it. And she has something else for us. Greater Idaho. We've talked about the Greater Idaho. They want to expand Idaho out to the ocean. They want to take over Oregon now. And so Greater Idaho expands. Oh, sorry guys. Okay. Hey, I thought you rage quit.
Sorry, no, I was trying to answer FaceTime and I hung up on you.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I started talking about this Greater Idaho expands. Do you remember I was talking about that before? There's like a movement.
Hello?
Oh, did I mute you? I probably muted you. Hold on. It happens. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Put you back there. Okay. So there's a movement in Idaho to take over Oregon. I don't know what they're talking about when they say they're gonna
join Oregon or something.
Yeah, and they said, but Portland is getting walled off. Portland's so bad. It really is a hot mess. They're one of those cities that had the open air drug market and all that stuff. And anyway, in a stunning turn of events, the Greater Idaho movement has thrown out its old map, crumpled into a wad of regret, and decided to annex the entire state of Oregon, except for Portland, which they claim has gone too far to save.
Some crazy shit was going on in Portland.
It really is, and it's such a beautiful city. It's so sad. Seattle the same. If they were trying to take over Washington, I imagine that they would wall. I don't. What are they going to do? They're going to wall it off. Where is this? Considering that it's Idaho, I wouldn't be exactly shocked if this works. If they actually are able to annex Oregon. I think that Idaho just wants coastline. I'm not sure where this comes from. If there was some kind of, the original map of the U.S., if Oregon was part of Idaho, or Idaho was part of Oregon, whatever. But it's kind of nuts, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's another symptomatic sign of a wild state, man. What a wild, wild state. And it's not like it's simple. It's not like it's Wild West, good guys, bad guys. It's everything in between.
Yeah.
As twisted as you get. You ever try to pretend a lake is the ocean? It's not the same, man. We want waves. We want seafood, and we want seagulls that steal our fries at Moe's. Under the new Greater Idaho plan, every inch of Oregon coastline will be claimed by Idaho, officially making it Idaho's beach. T-shirt designs are already in the works. The crazier the idea, the more it gets legs, I guess. Portland left behind and walled off. Here's what I want to get to.
I'm trying to find that article for you.
Yeah, that's fine. Portland will be officially cut off from the new Idaho, walled in like a failed science experiment gone wrong to function. That's right, a wall, a big beautiful wall, said Gunderson. It'll keep Portland inside Portland where it belongs, and the best part is we will make Portland pay for it. The wall, which is already being designed by Idaho construction firms, will feature a complete perimeter blockade. No more sneaking out for a secret trip to Cracker Barrel. Guard towers equipped with laser pointers to distract hipsters and slow their escapes to attempt. I thought it said slow escape attempts. Signs that say no free Wi-Fi to deter Portlanders from trying to loiter near the border. Greater Idaho has also confirmed that under no circumstances will Portlanders be allowed inside the new Idaho unless they spend 48 hours in a rural town without complaining about the lack of a Whole Foods, a gender-neutral bathroom, or bike lanes. Start a fire using only sticks and flint. Drive a pickup truck with a manual transmission. Successfully gut and clean a fish. Go hunting. Fix a flat. Spend an entire day outside without checking their phone. Ditch the skinny jeans. We're not asking for much, she says. Just cute proof you can function outside of a bougie coffee shop. Oh, man. They're delusional.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, my gosh. What else did I have? Okay, so this is Guitar Center. And this is sent for by Rochford here. And it is... this is the hush room when it gets flooded. No, this is Guitar Center and a fire hydrant. Burst, so Doug will appreciate this. And all those Les Pauls and drum sets getting soaked, and I'm sure all the foot pedals and effects. Okay. So that is pretty sad to see all those electronics go to waste here. Let me see what happens when I click on this here. Try to do it without blocking you. Alright. And go to site here. Let's see what this is. Alright. Police getting death threats after white supremacist arrests. Oh, I saw this article.
Yeah, this is the Patriot Front guys, which is who Brooke Miller, Jack DeCour's band, is promoting. So
what?
This would answer a lot of questions as far as the FBI's involvement. You know, if it's bigger, you know, or why they were there already.
They were there already, and also you were talking about why stuff.
No, we're not talking about that yet.
Why? Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. Okay, but go on about this.
I mean, nothing. I just kind of put it together because it's just.
Well, one thing out of our okay, so this is Coeur d'Alene, and the police chief says he and his officers are receiving death threats after arresting more than 30 members of the white supremacist group Patriot Front. The alleged...
And that's who Jack DeCour's, his aunt is heavily involved in. Like, like, when you look at her friends list on Facebook, like, not her friends list, but, like, people that are following her, like her public posts, the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office is following her, and all her pages, all conspiracy shit, and it just reminded me of when the G's had said how Kaylee was into conspiracy theories and human trafficking, and how she was conservative and was like watching the elections and all that. So I just wondered if there was like more to this, but I'm still looking into it, so we're not going to talk about that yet.
Well, we have talked about, one thing we have talked about is that in one of the shows we're pretty much dedicated to it, is how possibly with her true crime thing that she possibly stumbled upon something, and that gives an actual put it in your fist motive, where as opposed
than her moving out and leaving all her shit behind. Like, come on.
Yeah, and as opposed to a narrative that they've spun to try to make somebody else feel guilty, because it's like they said, if you're a good enough prosecutor, you can convict a ham sandwich. And
I mean, listen, you know, it would answer a lot of questions if we want to go that direction, like, you know, with Kaylee being a target and all that. It would answer a lot of questions because it can't be a coincidence that she just happened to come back, and, you know, the G's are the only family talking, you know, to the media, and, you know, his aunt's like heavily involvement with the money situation with the G's, like almost like they're getting paid off to keep their mouths shut. I don't know. It just feels icky. Something feels off, and I don't think that I think it needs to be looked into more for sure.
Definitely something they should look at if they're not already. You brought up the FBI being there already.
That's what I heard. I mean, that's a rumor, right? I mean, I don't know.
Well, there was a very heavy.
Kaylee on December 15th, and no other victims had a FOIA request. So it was there was one in December for Kaylee. There was another one for concerned citizens of Idaho, and another one for Christchurch in Moscow.
Now go. Wait. Slow down, New York. What is
how slow do you want me to talk?
What is? I want you to get down in North Carolina. No. What is a FOIA? What is a FOIA?
Citizens of Idaho.
No. What is a FOIA request? You go. You run through. What is a FOIA request?
I don't know what a Freedom of Information Act. I've never done one. I don't know.
Okay.
But
just in case anybody doesn't know.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's to get like public records. I guess something like that. I don't know how to.
Well, if you remember,
everyone knows what a FOIA is in here. Come on.
It's not. It's a mauve FOIA. No, what we heard in the very beginning of the case in the first few days was that there was over 60 FBI agents assigned to this particular case instantly.
Right. And that's not normal.
And as big of a crime as it was, it
happens all the time, honestly. I mean,
and then so for them to have those 60 agents and 0 PCA evidence produced from them beyond the lost travels.
The line was going to them. I mean, that just tells me a lot.
Well, the lost travels of the DNA beyond that they're not going to use, which was FBI related, and then the untrained use of the cell phone data to make it look like he was in the area, spinning that narrative. It's like, okay, the FBI did something, but then they walked away, and they stepped back, and there's no way that you're going to sit there and tell me the FBI doesn't have its own problems, right? But you have, I don't know that they would cover for another agency, like a smaller, lower police department and something like this.
I don't think it's about that. I think this is all tied in to the search warrants in Washington where they sealed them, right? And they only requested them to be sealed until March 1st, I believe, of 2023. And there was some really odd, wording being used. It said something like a threat to public safety and the effectiveness of law enforcement to utilize tools available to investigate or something like that. And it mentioned how it was an ongoing investigation that should be done in like 2 months, right? So they only requested it to be sealed for 2 months, and that charges had not been publicly known. They were something like that. I think that there is a bigger investigation happening, and when they said that the investigation should be completed in 2 months, I think they were talking about something else. I think they are hiding something with this investigation because it would affect another investigation.
Yeah, I think that's slipped through a couple times. And also, remember the thing I was telling you about, that interview with, I believe it was Mowry, where BK was already in custody, and the reporter asked him a question. Instead of just saying, we can't release that information, he said, we can't release that information because it would give an advantage to the suspect.
Yes. So I think they mean another parallel investigation,
It would seem that way because you have supposedly the one and only, we got our guy suspect in custody. What difference is it going to make if you release information to him? He's not going to bust out.
To him and not the public. Like, there's no excuse.
That's the other problem, is that and we see it. You can see it with one way. You can see it through the Jeff H. lens, where there's a reason that they're keeping all this stuff under redaction and under gag order. Or you can see it the way Ann explained it, and it's the reason that it's not public is to withhold it not from just from them, but from the defense, and to be able to use it, and then to taint the jury pool when they're already going in thinking this guy is guilty. So that's a big, and then that interview was it really makes you question things there.
Yeah.
So
I remember there was another court hearing where I think it was Ann. Yeah, it was Ann or Logs. One of them said something about. It was Ann, I believe, and she was talking about like hundreds of law enforcement officers being involved in the case. This is when she was requesting the training records. That was that one. Like hundreds. Why would hundreds of officers be involved in a quadruple murder, which is horrible, but not for nothing. Things like that happen all the time across the country.
Well, if there was 60 plus FBI agents,
right,
and hundreds of
is a lot.
of LE, why did it take them over a week to get some of the camera footage? I mean, if they were out there doing anything, they should have had that wrapped up in a couple days and everybody interviewed and DNA'd and forensically testing. You know what? The only thing I can think is they had 113 officers and they came up with each one piece of evidence. You don't come back to this department unless you have one piece of evidence. And then, here, I brought this as show and tell day. I brought this for my little boy. And, and it's like,
and that's another point. Like the cowboys that showed up at the house, like, the removal of evidence, like there was so many like shady little things behind the scene going on that are really, really abnormal. Like never, it does not happen normally at all. There's something bigger. It's just a feeling that I get, and it's got to be because there's too many. How many coincidences can you stack? Before you got to pay attention.
Well, I think we've more than proven that they're more than willing to be happy to cover up for violent crimes involving students at the university and sweeping them under the rug as quickly as possible.
Right, because the coroner is the one who signs off on the death certificate and also decides if there's a need for an autopsy or not. And the way Idaho's coroner system is right now, there's a lot of media coverage right now about that because it's extremely flawed. There's so many deaths that really need autopsies that don't get them. Like they're like the lowest in the nation. And I mean, think about it. All you got to do is have a coroner in your back pocket, and anything that should be looked into, all of a sudden, doesn't need to.
And the statistic never gets shown. Come to beautiful Idaho. There's no murders here because we totally didn't take a report.
Oh wait, you want to? Let me play something for you. Hold on. Oh shit. Let me just pull it up 1 second. Coming to Idaho. Hold on. Shit. Go there to get away, to run away from something. Like that.
I wonder. That's got to be a big thing of it. It really does. It's almost like our penal colony.
Penal colony?
That's what Australia was. It was a penal colony for England. Get your mind out of the gutter.
I'm such a child. Hold on.
You got practically 2 grown-ass kids. What are you talking about? Never gonna grow up. Toys R Us kid. Well, Mouse, yeah, I had a co-host for a little while who lived in Coeur d'Alene, and she said that there was sex farms and swinger parties all over the place. I don't know if they did the hard swaps or the soft swaps, or I didn't catch that. Have you ever heard of a soft swap, Jen?
No, what is that?
I think it's when you loan your partner out for the weekend, and then there's a hard swap, which
Jesus,
is
that's a soft one. What the hell's a hard?
yeah, that's when it really gets messy. I don't know. I think it was in Swamp Rose's chat of all things. It came up, but yeah, there was a whole thing. You remember the upside down pineapple, right?
Yeah, I heard about that.
And then Brennan wore the pineapple the pineapple Hawaiian shirt on Thought Riot.
What the hell happened to them, man? Like, that's just crazy. Like, that's just weird.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say what I heard the other day.
Yeah, it's your channel. I give you permission.
Let me think about it. Okay, it's out there. It's already out there. But okay, remember how I used to pick on them? Because they would be like, oh, how's your channel coming, Kane? I had like 10 subscribers. They're like, Kane has a channel. And I'd be like, Malia would say that. And I'd be like, well, I'm not spending $10,000 a month on advertising. But guess what? They had said that they were actually, that $10,000 was coming from someone else.
Wait, what $10,000? What are you talking about?
That they would spend that on advertising every month because they had.
What they said?
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't remember, and I won't say who told me, but the money was coming from a sponsor. So
yeah, so an investor is something like that.
A what?
Like an investor or something.
Like a sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, an investor, exact same thing. And no, they used to pick on me, Phil. But and so that makes me think, because remember I do the many me's, I have all the different characters, right? And one day Brennan said, no, there's a new YouTube policy, blah 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 blah. Everybody's picking on me in the chat now. So I wonder if the sponsor said, no more show, that's it, you crossed a line, or we don't want to do this anymore. And because I can't see them as not saying a goodbye to their fans. Because people...
Right, not saying goodbye and lying about why they left. It's weird. They just blew up from like 10,000 subs to like
15,000. but
they choose that time, like the timing to just no one would do that. No.
Well, the thing is they had memberships that they saw, people had donated super chats and invested in them, and they weren't the type of people I would see that they would just kind of take the money and run.
Yeah. I'm trying to find this art. I can't. I'm still looking for it, but I just came across something else in, I think, Washington. They found some woman dead on the roof of a hospital. Like, what the hell?
I've heard of that translucent. YouTube has a promotion program that costs like $200 a month. They also have another thing when you're just starting out with the they'll promote your videos to get seen more, but your watch hours don't count towards anything. So your channel grows in subscribers, but you don't get like the credit to be able to monetize, I guess, whatever. And so, oh wow, I didn't know that, Toes. That's crazy.
I'm not in chat, so I didn't see it.
He says that's what Pav uses. What I was just saying, Translucent was talking about in the chat. It's about if you pay $200 a month, your video will be promoted, and so that must be like the next level. But you'll get 10,000 views per video, and you can also buy subscribers, like I guess on the black market or the gray market or whatever, and you can pay. But like I said, I mean, what difference would that make to me if Meanie didn't show up and Woke Up wasn't here, or Mousy Wousy and I, because I know if when I go live that people are going to show up. My subscribers are going to click on my thing, whether Lana's on. I love how... Who was that? I might have to ban her. It was... Tanel Ray, no, I love you. I wouldn't do that. She's like, Lana's on. I'm like, oh, you just cleared my waiting room there. No, but whether you know when I'm on or not, no matter what, if they're gonna be here because they love this chat and they like this show and they like the content and the format, and you can't buy subscribers because then they're not gonna show up. What good is that to me? I have no good. Anyway.
Yeah. I can't find this shit, but
well, give me the gist of it. Give me the gist of it.
Look at Tammy Daybell, right?
Yeah.
They ruled her death as a natural death. Nothing to see here. And she was like young, like she was not, nothing was wrong with her health or anything like that. And they only exhumed her and reinvestigated because of what happened with the two kids.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that, it never would have been looked into. So how many other instances do you think there are of people that were, marked as natural causes and really it was not?
That's one of the articles that we talked about on last week's show. And what a week last week. Jen, I did 30 hours in 3 days.
YouTube?
On YouTube because of the hearing. They had a 3-hour block it out of your able to see thing. And then I went after and did a whole analysis of my opinions. And then I got Lana. And then I got, I think Miss Potts went for like an hour. And also, I think even Jewels of All Trades. And so I ended up like one 11-hour, a 4-hour, and then like a 6-hour. So it was 20, and then I did like another 10 hours somehow in the next couple of days. I was like, all right, I need a break.
Did you know I just was reading into like the DNA stuff and all these different websites, but one of the co-founders of Gen Match is his name's Curtis Rogers. I don't know. I just found that the Rogers, Papa Rogers.
Oh, really?
Coinky dink. I'm trying to find this. Okay, I found it. Hold on. This is just another little. This is about the FBI, how they implanted like this girl in Colorado Springs, I think, and she was getting into like the radical, protests and all that shit. She kind of reminds me of Kaylee a little bit, if you look at her, and her name's April Rogers. She was working undercover.
Oh, okay. When you say they inserted her, I wasn't sure what you. So she had a.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Me? You're the one who started all this.
What if Kaylee? What if that's what it was going on with Kaylee? You know what I'm saying? Like those two guys that were following her and allegedly trying to hit on her. Yeah, right. Like that's weird. Like you never know.
There was a lot of weird stuff. What was the other thing you were talking about with the stalking? Why did that disappear? Why are those guys off the hook?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The two guys that were at a local business and were following her around in the store and then into her car, but never spoke to her, and they were just trying to pick up women. Like, that's a bullshit story. Come on. Like, that's creepy. Like, who says to the boy, let's go out and go pick up some women at a local business and follow them around? Like, no. That's weird. And it got brushed aside like no big deal. Oh, that wasn't stalking. Nothing to see here. Bullshit.
Well, the funny thing is...
The vape shop owner specifically said how the girls... he was like, we're trying to protect Kaylee. Or keeping Kaylee safe. Something like that, he said. Not keeping each other safe. He specifically said Kaylee.
Right. They don't say Kaylee and Maddie were being stalked. That was my point. And why two guys after one girl? And okay, so real quick, I want to read this. Amy Conway asked Papa Rogers, can they just get the IP address? And that's probably a better question for Twiz. But if he wants to field that. But yeah, I would assume that when you have an account with, what was that on Instagram or Reddit? It was on Reddit, right? The Papa Rogers account.
What, Papa Rogers?
Was it Facebook? Facebook, right?
Yeah, in the same Facebook group. That was the video I did, where it's like coincidentally the same freaking two women that run that Facebook group. That's the Papa Rogers group. That's the one that leaked the Corner Club picture. That's the one that leaked the What Did You Say to Adam video. Like, give me a break. They're part of it. Like, they're paid actors. Like, why, out of every possible source to release a video or whatever piece of, evidence, why would they choose this Facebook group? Like, they're involved somehow. They're being paid or something, I think.
Yeah, because there was some leading things there that suggested they knew more about the crime than anybody else did at the time, right?
Right, like, a confidential source messaged us on Facebook and gave us this video, blah 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 blah. Like, why you? Like, out of everybody, why you?
No, again,
I don't buy it. Like, it was all, the timing was very very convenient for them. Like, it came out to take heat off of Jack D. Or first it was Hoodie Guy, and Jack D. and Adam. It conveniently, quote unquote, exonerated them in the court of public opinion with one sweep. You know what I'm saying? Like, that one still shot. Like, it was strategic, and it just happened to be leaked by the Adam footage. Just happened coincidentally to be leaked by New St. Andrews College, which is part of Christ Church. Like, I don't buy it. That's bullshit.
Well, it fits into the thing where, why didn't they investigate the DNA on the glove and the whatever else they had, the A, B, C, and D? Why does this Papa Rogers not come up in the PCA? And where's the investigation into that? And it seems like they focus on one thing and one thing only. And anything else doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. Everybody's 1,000% trusted and cleared, right? And
I mean, at the very least, the public needs to be pissed. At the very, very least, for them wasting everybody's time looking for the wrong car, And if they switch the timeline, like, if you switch the timeline of the murders, then don't you have to go back and re-interview everybody that you cleared? Like, it's just crazy, and nobody even nothing to see here. Like, it's mind-boggling.
Well, yeah, and the problem is they know that since it's a school where people are going from at least out of the city to attend, when you get the holiday that comes up, they're gone. And
it doesn't look fishy at all. Like,
and how many of this?
Leave town, and it doesn't look suspicious.
Right,
it's perfect.
Except for BK, storm. Unless you're BK, then it's suspicious, and they have to get you with a sniper rifle.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, it's you have people that never came back to the school for whatever reason. They could be traumatized and whatever. I'm sure many of them were. But before they left, where are all these interviews with these people? Where are at least you can let me look at your hands. If you were if you were on King Road or Taylor or Linda Lane, and you're in that area and you're friends with these people, there's no way that a police officer would come over to my crying ass and put a blanket around me if I was one of those roommates. They would be
don't they have to separate the witnesses? Like, I mean, just everything about this case went against, Police 101. Like, basic, what even non-police people know.
Yeah, the math don't math on every single move.
It just, come on. Like, they just fucked it all up. Even the Banfield, right? That whole footage. Well, in what planet is it okay to leave your partner alone with 3 unknown males that might have weapons to go sit in your car? Like, no. Like, just everything went against protocol. It just tells me that they're
what are you talking about?
Severely incompetent or severely corrupted, or maybe both.
What are you talking about with the 3 unknown males? I'm sorry.
The Banfield kids. There's 3 kids that got stopped.
Yeah.
And the one cop walked away and went to sit in the car to do whatever, wipe his snot in his hand.
Yeah.
And left the other cop alone. So you don't leave, that poses a risk to the officer, leaving him with 3 unknown males. Like, we call them kids, but they're grown, they're young men.
Hi, Reed.
He could have had a weapon and killed him, and his partner would have been nowhere to see.
Hi, Rini. You had an itchy trigger finger today on toes. She deleted his comment by accident, so I pinned it up there.
I was wondering. I was like, why did she delete it?
You saw Rolamato's video the other day on the last live, and that had some very interesting stuff happening in it, where I thought it was more than just an ink blob, which Black Magnum 57 Thunderclap, whatever his name is this week, he was picking on it. But I want to talk about what I've seen from Doc Thrifty on the stuff on Enid Harsh. Remember we were talking about Enid Harsh?
Oh yeah.
With Enid Harsh, okay, it's one thing that you were seeking a spotlight and you've inserted yourself into this case, but then you lied and you changed your story.
Right. Immediately, if someone is being, if the cops are talking to someone, they immediately become suspicious if they change their story. Period. But when all these other people did it, it's nothing. Like the G's do it all, did it like 100 times. Enon did it, and it's not even a second glance.
Right.
I don't understand.
Well, the thing about the DoorDash driver, or the private ride share driver.
Oh my God! Don't get me started.
Okay, so let me give it to him in a chewable pill.
You said the bad word.
Well, it's a Flintstones chewable. Where is John Stone, by the way? John Stone. That driver said he did not find out about the crime until Wednesday. And what did the G's say that they did?
Well, one article, it said a few days later. Another article, it said Monday, right? But the person doing these interviews saying that he was the driver, not once does he mention knowing the G's. Not once does he mention talking to Olivia on Sunday and telling her about the grub truck footage. He says that he lives in Pullman, 1,200 feet away from Brian, submitted his car on the 10th, along with like 12 or 13 others, and then just stopped looking, apparently. I guess, he felt like he did enough. He took a week off of driving after the murders. Like, there's a lot of things about that,
okay, well, let me say one thing, and then you go. What I remember was that he didn't hear about it until a few days later.
Right. Another article says he didn't hear about it till Monday when they released the victim's name. So, either way,
but here's the thing.
He didn't know about it on Sunday.
Right. Olivia said she spoke with him on Sunday.
Right. So how did that? Who's lying?
Why are you lying? You can lie any other day of the week, and I say it over and over. Don't lie on the 13th. Don't lie on the 12th. Don't lie on the 14th. What are you lying for? Who's lying?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, the G said first they called it Uber driver, then it was a private driver, then it was a sorority designated driver, then it was a family member or something like that.
He was a family friend.
Someone that was like a family member.
A family friend.
So that's like a lot of changing stories.
That's a lot. That's even more than I thought. And didn't they say they had him for a barbecue?
I never heard that. I don't know.
I remember hearing something about they had him to the house after.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I never heard that.
But right there. Boom, boom, boom. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Ding,
Huge
ding,
red
ding,
flag.
ding, ding,
Like,
ding.
Huge.
And that's, again, coming from Olivia. And she's saying she spoke with him on Sunday. If she spoke with him on Sunday, they certainly talked about what happened. But he didn't find out what happened until Wednesday?
She says he told her about the grub truck footage. But in all the interviews that the driver, quote unquote, did with, News Nation, Law and Crime, whatever, not once does he mention speaking to Olivia. Matter of fact, in the, I think it was 48 Hours, they did a documentary, which is now like scrubbed from the internet. You can only find clips of it on TikTok.
A documentary?
But, yeah, I have some of it. I have a clip of it in one of my videos, the one that says 1:07 a.m. on the thumbnail, where they say Olivia had said that they went to the corner club at 1:07 a.m. and later texted a rideshare driver. So it's like, it just, I don't know, it just made me think about that 4chan post where it was allegedly Jack S. or Hoodie Guy, if it, whatever, saying that they got the wrong driver on purpose. Do you remember that?
No.
It said something about major pain and how the law got the wrong driver on purpose.
Detective Payne? Major Payne's a movie.
I know, but major pain meaning, like, say he was saying the poster of this 4chan post was trying to infer that the sheath came from major pain, from
Oh.
and that they purposely got the wrong driver. And I know that it says Eric Grower, Gower, whatever,
right
on the Pennsylvania docs, but then you ask yourself, why did the person doing these interviews saying he lived 1,200 feet from Brian say that he drove full time? Like he spends his days like driving people around, and he didn't know about the murders. Well, if he works for UI, he would have known because he would have got a vandal alert. So there's another discrepancy.
I guess that they said that he lost a daughter, and he didn't want that to happen to anyone else.
I heard something like that, but I don't know. There's so many stories about the driver, and like that's a big, like, that's the last person to see two of the victims. Like, and all these discrepancies are just ignored. I had tagged on my Twitter. I tagged like, what's his name, Alex Capariello or whatever, because he did one of the interviews with the driver. I tagged him a bunch of times, like asking him, like, hey, what's up with this discrepancy? But I get, mainstream media ignores it, of course.
Yeah, no, but they're getting better. Nobody better violate Meg P's rights, I'll tell you that right now. So, yeah, the other thing was now everybody's saying the DoorDash driver is innocent, but we have so many weird things right there also, Jen. The interview or whatever that Rory did, and then the interview that JLR did at the Jack in the Box or whatever. It was a black-haired girl and blah, 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 blah. And they totally came up with two different stories from each of their efforts. So you have to wonder, with the delivery happening now, with the DoorDash, it's hush, put it quietly on the door, alert me in the app, I don't want anybody else to know I'm getting it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But at 4 a.m. and then now you have 7-minute discrepancies and everything, and you have a video of Ridge Road with BK taking a right instead of a left to go to Moscow.
I mean, they have the house went from being called Queen Road during the noise complaints to all of a sudden being King Road. You have a 2-minute discrepancy with the call log, the police call log. It says 11:56.
Yeah.
But then everything out there says 11:58. I mean, think about it. It's just ridiculous. Like, how many things are wrong? It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I can't get past... okay, so that video came out. Whatever, it used to just be a still frame. Ironic timing that it came out right after Jennings basically backed herself into... And I got to get to that video. I don't know. I'm sure everybody here has seen it. But I want to watch it together. Was Heather's video. And all of us kumbaya and hold hands. And I don't know.
Do you want to play, after that, you want to play the video that I did about the driver? You want to play it again? I did it like months ago.
Yeah. Put a link, but not yet.
All right. Let me find it.
Actually, let's play yours first, and then I'll do Heather. And then I'm probably going to shut it down, probably, because I got to get to bed pretty soon.
Uno minuto.
It's 10 o'clock. I should have shut it down by now.
1 second.
Only 2-6. I can get 6 hours if I go to bed now.
Yeah, I need to eat something. I made dinner, but I didn't eat yet.
Jennifer's. Heather's is only 10 minutes. Yours is only a couple minutes.
Mine is not even that. Hold on.
So that's perfect way to end
Okay, got it.
And if you're new to The Purge, please hit the subscribe button. Jump on in the chat. We got Jen from Criminal Confidential, the one and only channel. We'll soon premiere her videos here. And
I gotta go back to your video.
Appear. When I get to 1,000 subscribers, she will come on the camera. And
I gotta get a headset with a microphone, and I gotta get my computer.
Yeah, we gotta
working.
get you
I'm on,
some
like,
gear.
This old Chromebook, it sucks.
plus my internet thing.
Hold on, it's loading. Okay, I got it. I'm posting it right now in chat.
What? Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, this will be interesting to see again.
As
There's a content claim on this video, you guys. I'm gonna still play it, but I'm gonna do all this stuff and I'm gonna play music over it. Hold on. Jen just remembered that conveniently.
Sorry.
You keep changing your timeline.
It's not a copyright. It's a content ID claim. This is the 48 hours video that is scrubbed from the internet, so you can have it on there, but it won't be monetized.
I wonder if they're Let me see here.
What if you speed it up? Does it still count? I don't know. Or can you play the
I put
audio
music
without the visual?
Well, the way they find stuff.
Just the first part is.
Well, I already played the first part.
Well, do you want me to find the timestamp where it's not?
I'm just gonna put it at 1.25 and see what happens.
Okay.
And I got the cover on it. We'll see.
The rideshare
Scrub playing this because the G's keep going after everybody, I guess. And
Well,
this might be
as
the
soon
one.
As this hold on, let me find a timestamp where it's not the 40 hours part is gone,
All right.
and then the rest is like my content.
I can't undo what's already done anyway.
Just fast forward it. Keep fast forward it till the guy, the 48 hours guy, is not talking anymore.
There's News Nation.
Yeah, the News Nation stuff you can play. Just after the first 48 hours thing is over.
Okay.
There you go. Rewind it. You can go back.
Need more?
It's just like the first. Yeah, you can go back.
Okay, wait. There's the 48 hours part. I see it.
Okay, so as soon as the 40 hours one is over.
Share. Sorority driver, Uber, private driver, family member. The last person to see two of the victims alive is being called 5 different things by the same family. Why is this not talked about more? Someone is lying. The driver, or the G's.
You don't have to put it back.
Not once does the driver ever mention speaking to Olivia on the 13th and telling her about the Twitch stream. The driver said he didn't know what happened until the next day when they released the victims' names. How is that possible if he spoke to Olivia on Sunday, November 13th? Someone is lying.
Breaking news tonight, 40 days into the University of Idaho murders, and the driver, who was likely the very last man to see Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez alive, is speaking to News Nation tonight. The Uber driver who brought the kids home the night of the murders, Kaylee's family reported that their daughter had indeed ordered an Uber, and now the man who drove them is revealing exclusive details to us about that ride home and what the girls said in the back of that car. News Nation correspondent Alex Capriello is live tonight. He tracked him down. He joins me from outside the home in Moscow. That was a very difficult task. Tell me what you found out, Alex.
Yeah, I was able to find this rideshare driver. He's one of only about 4 here in the Moscow area. So I was able to track down that phone number and give him a call personally, speak to him. I asked him point blank, hey, are you the guy who drove Kaylee and Maddie home that night? And to his credit, he was very transparent, very honest, very open, almost immediately with me.
Well, understandably, he has said, Alex, that he is very concerned. It's a small community. He doesn't want to be on camera, but he was very revealing in what he told you about that ride home. Start there. What did the girls talk about in the back seat?
Well, he said that it was actually a rather innocent conversation from the beginning. You might remember that he picked up these 2 girls from that grub truck. It's the food truck that's located right in downtown Moscow. And really, he said that was the center of their conversation. The entire 5-minute ride home was about their mac and cheese.
They talked about carbonara for 5 minutes? Weird. Is it just me, or is it weird that he remembers what type of mac and cheese they got that night?
Carbonara that they were planning on splitting when they got back to the house. He said that he's picked them up in the past, not only these two girls, but Xana as well. And he said that in the past they've talked about boys and drama and college life, but not this time around. It was just a very normal, innocent conversation about their food and how they were going to share it when they got home.
So that's also revealing that he knew them. He had them in the car multiple times before. This is a small town. So if they've taken an Uber a couple of times, it would be likely that he'd be the driver. And he said, indeed, he knew them. He knew all three of them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He said that obviously as one of only about 4 rideshare drivers in this area, he picks up these girls a lot. And not to mention, we already know that this is so close to frat row. And of course, we've reported that this is a party house. So a lot of times students would come here. And so he said that Xana, that Kaylee and Maddie were no strangers to them. He's given them rides home from the bars, home from work, home from school. So he knows them. He has driven them before. But back again to this, he said that there was nothing out of the ordinary that night, that right now or in that moment that it was just an innocent conversation. Of course, the frats were bumping on a Saturday night, but here at the house, it was quiet, and he saw nothing out of the usual.
So as you reported earlier this week, Alex, the last thing that we heard on tape was the surveillance camera showing Maddie and Kaylee walking from the Corner Club bar to the grub truck. And the only thing we could hear was, Maddie, what did you tell Adam? And then Maddie responds, I told Adam everything. Was there any conversation in the back of the Uber car about Adam or the bartender? Because Adam turned out to be the bartender. Did you mention anything like that?
Yeah, actually, the rideshare driver said that he knows Adam. He knows he's a bartender, but Adam was not brought up once at all during that conversation. Again, no conversations about boys, drama, or any trouble. And as far as what the girls were feeling, he said they were not fearful. They weren't skittish in any way. But back to the food truck, also, I asked him about that. Hey, you were right there. Did you see anything out of the ordinary there? And he said, no, it was a Saturday night at the food truck. A bunch of college kids hanging out, ordering their food before heading home. You know, I brought up another person. A lot of people have speculated about the hoodie guy he's been referenced as. He said he didn't see that guy. He has no indication that anything was wrong there at the food truck, and certainly during that entire rideshare home, no indication that anything was wrong there, rather.
Okay, then what about the police? Because clearly, I would have imagined the police have a lot more, machinery and technological ability than sometimes we do to track people down. I assume that the police would have found him and that they would have talked. What did he?
That's a good point, Toes. Is that, Jen? Don't you think that if there was a latent bloody shoe print that shows tampering of some sort, whether whoever it was,
right?
That's
a clean crime scene, like, period.
Yeah, it should just be a footprint.
Right.
That's a very good point. I just wanted to mention that.
What did he say about being able to tell everything he told you to the police?
Right. Yeah, this was super interesting to me because he said that he didn't hear about the murders until the next day.
The driver said he didn't find out what happened to the victims until the next day. 11:14:22. Olivia claims to have spoke to the driver on Sunday 11/13. That's when he told her about the grub truck video.
And he realized, oh my gosh, these are the 2 girls that I had driven home, and I've driven home in the past. And so he was stewing on that for a little bit, but he was the one who eventually turned himself over to the police by calling the tip line, saying, hey, I was the one who drove these girls home. The police tells the rideshare driver that they already knew he was the driver, but even still, he was the one who called in himself and said, hey, I was that guy. That being said, when he did that, called the tip line, he turned over all of his GPS coordinates from that night, sharing that he went to Taco Bell after dropping the girls off and then went home. And so that's the reason why he was cleared almost immediately. He'd never been named as a suspect or persons of interest because all the data that he provided to the police proves that he was not there at this house.
He provided the data, so that just proves that he didn't do it. He went to Taco Bell, so he definitely had nothing to do with it. Oh, man.
Right, like he couldn't have just gone home, left his phone there, had Taco Bell, and then came right back. But
if I was ever,
for a second.
I swear, hey, Cold, I swear if I was ever to rob a armored truck, I would want the Moscow PD to be doing the investigation, man. Because
I just want to, so TaxMax said Steve Jr., could he be the driver? You know what, that's a really good point. Very possible. That would make sense why it would be covered up.
Who said that, TaxMax?
Yeah, said could Steve Jr. be the driver?
Look at the big brain on TaxMax tonight.
Yeah, I never thought about that. But I just want to clarify the point I was trying to get in this video because I didn't really know what I was doing. Not that I know what I'm doing now, but I really didn't know what I was doing back then, so I kind of didn't explain it good. But basically, the driver, okay, Kaylee didn't make a phone call at Grub Truck, right? She was texting. when you access someone's phone records on a family plan, you're only going to see the numbers that are text and called, incoming and outgoing numbers, not the content of the messages. Now, if Kaylee was texting someone to book a ride, like, how professional of a company could it be if the only way to book a ride is through a text? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no website, there's no, like, app, there's no dispatcher. So if that's the case, if he's so basic that he only books rides through text, then how did he have digital evidence and a timestamp if there was no digital way to even book a ride to begin with? Does that make sense? Am I explaining it right?
I guess maybe it's just some kind of phone number that you call. That doesn't seem...
But she didn't call anyone. She was texting.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a safe alternative for the university to use because it has very little data. Yeah, right. And so there's not a lot... If something goes wrong, there's not a lot of ways to prove it.
Right, and the police say it was a private party, which, to me, that infers that it was a non-commercially licensed person, like someone just like a friend, you know? So then I want to ask again, how do they have digital evidence of the timestamp they dropped them off? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Well, he provided the digital evidence, so obviously
what kind of digital evidence
he's cleared, baby. It's like, no, I didn't do it. Wrap me up in a blanket and send me home to my mommy. And I have like 4 articles, and hang out with me here, and we'll just skip ahead.
All right.
And I'm showing. So here's the first one. Well, this isn't the first one. This is the second one.
Those driver articles.
No, these are about knives and kids. This seems to be the thing. Is knives, and there's a lot of stabbings. We see, a guy. I had a video and the guy got stabbed, but they didn't show it, so I didn't play it. But he got stabbed 18 times just talking to this guy. Didn't expect it coming. And now you have this. Check out this video.
Okay.
If it'll play.
Full Bay is life-changing, in this industry.
I could never drive a truck.
Tough job some days.
A student at Grovetown Middle School was found with a knife on campus today. In a letter sent to parents, officials say an 8th grader had a knife in class and showed it to another student.
District police responded to the school and secured that knife. The student is currently being held to the school code of conduct and the law.
As an air conditioning parts supplier, Phil can tell you all about compressors, condensers, and coils.
Tariffs imposed on China by President Trump.
Okay, that went to a different article. Okay, so that was the first one, and if you read the article, they say that the father used to check the bag that the kid would take to school with them every day for a knife. Okay, so that was the first one. And then you have this that happened in UK. And a horrific school stabbing in quiet Welsh mining town shows scourge of UK's knife crime crisis. And I'm not saying that it's like copycat stuff. I'm saying it's the trend for younger people with these knives. And they go into these rages, and they've been coddled their whole freaking lives. And when something doesn't go their way, now instead of having a temper tantrum, you're stabbing people. Okay, so this was one. There's like 3 in a row. I was gonna do that, but I'll save that for the next. Here is a typical high school, and typically this begins in high school, where you have the metal detectors and the searches going into school. Can you imagine? I guess your kids, they had to go through this, right, to go to school?
Yeah, like they do. Like when I was in school forever ago, we just had to do like fire drill, training or whatever you want to call it. Now they have to do like active shooter drills. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, what a it almost seems like school nowadays is just a process. By the time they take attendance and start talking, the class is over, and you have a whole, you have the whole school day, and you have to wait in line to go through this thing like you're going to court, and it's like there's really no education happening in the public schools. I don't know that private schools have this. They may. It may be a mandate. I'm not sure. Did your kids go to private school?
No.
So, yeah, they had that for sure. I'm not sure. But that does seem to be that it's so out of control.
Speaking of private school, does anybody know why Kaylee went to that charter school when all her siblings went to just regular public school? I always wondered that.
I wonder if she had some type of scholarship.
I don't know, because I remember Steve said something about how when her and Maddie, did their little presentation of, let us go to public school for high school, he said something about how they felt like they were being punished by going to the charter school. So, I don't know if she had gotten maybe in trouble in school, or I don't know.
Sometimes charter schools are that. Charter school is something that is a private school, but sponsored by the state, right?
I guess. I don't really know.
And so it could be a disciplinary. But it does seem that Kaylee always excelled in everything she did.
It's like she was, almost like she was raised differently. Like, I've toyed with the idea that maybe she was raised with her aunt, Tammy, because there's like a lot of pictures where Kaylee's almost presented as one of her children, not her niece. You don't see pictures of all the G's kids. It'll be just Kaylee.
Just Kaylee, right? Yeah, there's so many pictures of it, and she was a very dynamic personality and very photogenic. So people were probably always, oh, let me get a snap of Kaylee and whatever.
When she was a kid, there when she was little. There's just a lot of memories in these pictures of vacations and this and that, where you just see Kaylee with her aunt and the aunts and her cousins and stuff. And I know Steve had said that Kaylee had grown up with her brother and her boy cousin Bryce, I think his name is.
Oh, really?
And would always want to race them and try to beat the boys and that type of thing.
Well, I mean, there's also pretty good evidence that they were pretty close, that he loved her a lot. And he did take special interest in her upbringing. She'd showing her how to shoot guns and all that kind of stuff. But that's, I don't know. I haven't looked into that like you have, I guess.
I know Olivia had posted something on, for Kaylee's birthday, her 16th birthday or something, I think. And it said something like how she let me stay at her home and didn't ask questions or something. It was something worded basically that, Olivia went to Kaylee's home, not, their home or their family home. It was, as if Kaylee was living a separate life, kind of. I don't know.
Mouse said that she was dropped off by drone. Or maybe BK. I'm sorry, but it's still funny. Okay, let me see. I had one more knife thing. And that's why it's it just, I can't wrap my mind around, especially with all the school shootings and stuff, that they would overlook the immediate area and clear people. There's no way that you can have a violent crime like this and clear everybody in that area within a day.
It's basically impossible. It's just impossible.
Unless you know exactly who did it or whatever, like you said, if the writing was on the wall. And that may be a reason that they wouldn't let... apparently, I don't know if you caught it, but there is... Miss Potts was talking about it on her show. There's a screenshot of Detective Payne's body cam in the piece listed in the PCA. And so that's very interesting to see. And she, I don't know if she inferred it or if it was a fact or whatever, but She said that, I'll bet you $10 there was no knife sheath.
Yeah.
What if the first time they went through on body cam, there's no knife sheath and then it's there? Oh,
I
man.
mean, it's just ridiculous. Everything, they flip-flopped on every basic fact. And, like,
At the very least.
It's one thing to misspeak, but, like, they were straight up telling lies, saying the roommates were asleep on the first floor. They slept through the whole thing. Like, how is that just being ignored? Like, they don't have to tell us everything, but in order for us to have confidence in law enforcement, they can lie, during interviews when they're interviewing the suspects, but they're not supposed to do that with the public.
It should be,
send us on a wild goose chase. It's
absolutely
not,
should be
not
perjury,
good.
right? What's going on right now. And you've seen the actual testimony now we got from Ann Taylor in the last hearing where Dylan was saying it was all a dream and all that stuff, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, all right. So I think that her testimony is going to be inadmissible because, first of all, it doesn't implicate anyone, even if it was what they say she said. Which, we go back again to the clad in black comment, which is not something a millennial would say. They wouldn't say wearing apparel. And they wouldn't
get
say,
up out of their bed 3 times either. My victim just texted me from the other room.
They wouldn't say deadpan face either. That's not even a thing. Deadpan is a kind of comedy where you tell a joke but you stay serious. So for somebody to call that out in an interview as a reference, deadpan face, it sounds made up. And so again, you have Enan Harsh, now you have BK Norton, and inserting themselves into the case, or are they being inserted into the case? Because remember, when we watched the ISP, whatever they call him, the head sheriff, talk, he said, our media partners. We want to thank our media partners over and over again. And
Please distribute this PCA far and wide. Tell everyone about it. Like, come on, it was planned. It was strategic.
the things that they released, that they literally said he was stalking and all this shit, and then later said it's irrelevant. It's not that we were lying. It's just that it's irrelevant. And that's why I want to play Heather's video, because she nailed it so good.
You didn't finish mine, but it's okay. I'll forgive you. It's okay. We played it before. I just wanted you to see that.
Yeah,
part,
that's the part I wanted to see.
copyrighted.
I got what I wanted out of you.
Whatever. I'm gonna go make me a plate because I'm starving. So go ahead and play the video so I can mute you.
No, go ahead and eat. I'll let you go. I'll finish up the show. Thank you very much for being on once again. I hope you feel better.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
And we'll play you out with Rochford here. And, we'll have you on the next one. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have the video done by then, if I can get my computer turned on up enough.
Yeah, and we'll premiere that hopefully here. So, how did you like what's your critique of the little video I did?
Oh my god. It's, like, it took me like a minute to register, like, what I just saw when I played it. It's crazy. Like, it's really amazing.
Yeah, it's sad, man. It's so, but that's the Kaylee that I see every night. And I told you about my dream with BK. Anyway, all right, you go eat. I'll finish up with Heather, and then I'm going right to bed.
All right, I'll be listening.
Okay. Say goodnight, Jen.
Bye, Jen. Good night, Jen.
All right, later.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. Jen from At Criminal Confidential, star of the show. All right, let's look at Heather, and we'll finish up there. I at least want to get to the Maori part. I'm going to need my rest here. I'll show you maybe the picture of the truck I had to unload on Saturday, and nobody's going to feel sorry for me, but it was just 3 of us. We had like a 70-foot truck that we had to unload. Alright, so where is Heather's? Where is Heather? There she is. It better be here. No. Which one is it, Heather? One day ago? Is it the one? Yeah, that's the one. There we go. We'll pick up where I left off.
Specifically?
A little bit back.
That provides service to the Moscow area. Defendant is cool.
Here's my concern with you telling me that. At this stage of things, where in the record is that currently? Apart from anything you may have submitted after they filed their Frank's motion.
What specifically?
That there are 3 towers.
I believe I referenced it in my response.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't. If you give me evidence and I rely on that evidence, then I have to give them a full Frank's hearing. If you give me evidence and I rely on that evidence, then I have to give them a full Frank's hearing.
I believe I referenced it in my response.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't. If you give me evidence and I rely on that evidence, then I have to give them a full Frank's hearing. And so that's why I've been very clear to say I'm looking at what the proffer is from the defense without evidence submitted by the state to determine whether they have met their threshold burden. And so I get concerned when you start telling me things that are not necessarily part of the evidence. And so I get concerned when you start telling me things that are not necessarily part of the evidence.
Understood. We can move past the number of towers.
If we can just move past the line.
We can move past the number of towers. Understood. We can move past the number of towers. Here's what is in evidence, though. And based off of the PC affidavit.
I'm dying on this video. I'm dying.
And based off of the PC affidavit, is that the phone was in the area for the tower that provides service to the 1122 residents. Is that the phone was in the area for the tower that provides service to the 1122 residents. Still maintain that's true. Still maintain that's true. Regardless, none of this has any bearing on the validity of the search warrant. Their argument is merely a clarification about which member did what work. And that doesn't matter to the ultimate determination for probable cause. And that doesn't matter to the ultimate determination for probable cause.
if you give me evidence and I rely on that evidence, then I have to give them a full Franks hearing.
What this draft report is going to look like. The court should know that when we get to trial, likely Agent Balance is going to come in and talk about his CAS draft report. He's going to be an expert in the field and talk about what he found and why he found and what he relied on to do that. I'm going to come in with an expert that's going to explain what his work did. Now, if the work aligns and Nicholas Balance and our expert aligns, well, that's just going to be shorter. But right now, it's definitely not looking like that. It looks like they're going to have their side, and we're going to be talking about what the data shows. They're going to have their side, and we're going to be talking about what the data shows. So what I want,
there's the truth, and then there's their bullshit
report that we were told would be available by March 31st. I need time to work on that.
Sure.
What I want is a full list of what was used to create that report, what was relied on. I have to be able to see if I can recreate that. I have to see what was right with it and what was wrong with it. So I don't have those two things, right?
Is it possible that it's just not completed?
It is possible.
From information provided by CAST, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone. That's not claiming to have done the CSLI work, but instead is just a reflection. The work was done by Balance, investigators reviewed that, and then made some determinations of the approximate locations for that 8458 phone. And we're going to get into this in a little bit down because this comes up again. All about the cell phone. And we're just going to take we have two different opinions about what those records show. We have an expert who tells us, and that's what was relayed in the probable cause affidavit. And those opinions haven't changed. We differ on a few factual issues. I believe there are 3 towers that provide service to the Moscow area. Defendant is cool.
Here's my concern with you telling me that at this stage of things. Where in the record is that currently, apart from anything you may have submitted after they filed their Franks motion?
What specifically?
That there are 3 towers.
I believe I referenced it in my response.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't. If you give me evidence and I rely on that evidence, then I have to give them a full Franks hearing. And so that's why I've been very clear to say I'm looking at what the proffer is from the defense without evidence submitted by the state to determine whether they have met their threshold burden. And so I get concerned when you start telling me things that are not necessarily part of the evidence.
Understood. We can move past the number of towers. Here's what is in evidence, though, and based off of the PC affidavit, is that the phone was in the area for the tower that provides service to the 1122 residents. Still maintain that's true. Regardless, none of this has any bearing on the validity of the search warrant. Their argument is merely a clarification about which member did what work. And that doesn't matter to the ultimate determination for probable cause. And based off of the PC affidavit, is that the phone was in the area for the tower that provides service to the 1122 residents.
Yeah. Okay, so that's another one of the things I had a question, and I don't know if Heather's just going to tell me somebody saw one once or whatever, but about the lights. You kept pointing to the lights. What's that all about? The only thing I could think is that the lights were positioned on a different place on the wall. You lost me there. I don't know if you were being cryptic again. I need a cipher with Heather sometimes. But what were you pointing at? I wonder. Anyway, okay, so if that's right, I want the only logical conclusion I could come to is, you know how I make the stuff backwards on here, is perhaps the video was posted and it was backwards. That was my only. But if it's by the stairs on one and on the other wall on the other, that's a very astute observation by Heather. Let me blank this out real quick, and I'll leave you with the little video that I did. And again, if you want to do it with your pictures, you get 166. And I know a lot of people, you can do it on your iPhone. They have that there. This one I thought was a little bit more professional. So it's called Klingay or whatever, Klingay. And this is the kind of stuff. And you get 166 free credits if you give them their email or whatever. So I am going to get nappy time for work and try to rest my knee so I can make it through the weekend. Hopefully the truck won't be as big this week. And we'll do, I'll probably do another show tomorrow night, maybe, if not, probably Friday. So I want to thank everybody for everything that you do and your dedication to all this and being here with me and Heather and Jen and Twiz and showing your support. Red Riding Hood, thank you so much. Too Fast for Fleas. I think we're literally one membership away from getting the new... I promised Meg I would replace one of the emojis with her. I didn't get to it yet. And I did promise you guys, I know for a fact, the enlarged thing of the trial. And with work and stuff, I haven't gotten to it yet. I apologize. And it's kind of a little late now. But it'll be interesting to watch. I wouldn't mind doing a show with just it zoomed in on each different person. That would be interesting. Because we've seen people pull excerpts of it. And I want to put that out there. And then Rochelle, I know if Rochelle's here, that you want the Titanic documentary. So I haven't forgot my promises. I do owe that to you. So have a great evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. And we will do it. We'll see you again soon. I'll let the chat run for a little bit. And y'all can say goodnight. So have a great evening and a